Welcome back to the Bi-Conics Internet Wrestling Podcast. Might sound a little different this evening just because right now you've just got me, JVL, Jon VL, doing his little thing here and getting everyone set up and going on here. But our regular hosts, Mikey and Minnie and Adolfo and the Professor John, are all right now either on their way in or have some other things coming up. So we're going to be doing it solo here until Mikey shows up in about 5 minutes here for the second night of the WWE Draft. So yes, we are getting set up here for Raw on the 1st of May. We're going to be going through all of these wonderful things and setting up people who are going to be drafted over to either brand. We have our list, though, of the original bit there that came through on the show itself as well as others. To refresh your memory here, we had for Night 1, we had, I'm actually going to pull this up right here. So, Round 1, SmackDown got Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman, all the Bloodline, but not the Usos. Raw, their first pick was Cody Rhodes. Then we had Bianca, the Raw Women's Champion, moving to SmackDown, and Becky Lynch to Raw. Round 2 saw the Street Profits moving to SmackDown, Imperium, all three, including Gunther, our Intercontinental Champion, going to Raw, Edge to SmackDown, and Matt Riddle to Raw. Round 3, Bobby Lashley to SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Psychopath, going to Raw. The OC, Gallows, Anderson, Meechin, and AJ Styles to SmackDown, and The Miz to Raw. And then in round 4, Damage Control going to SmackDown, all three. Shinsuke Nakamura to Raw. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, going over to SmackDown somehow. And then also Indy Hartwell, the NXT Women's Champion, going to Raw. And then after the fact of that, they then the next night announced a bunch of others here. Going to Raw were the Viking Raiders with Valhalla, Dexter Lumis, Candice LeRae, all of Maximum Male Models, Natalia, Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green, Apollo Crews coming up from NXT, Zoe Stark coming up from NXT, and JD McDonough also coming from NXT, all going to Raw. SmackDown got Hit Row, wonderful, and Lacey Evans. And free agents, which they've described as people that can float between brands, so far have been almost an MVP, Dolph Ziggler, Von Wagner, and Mustafa Ali. Basically, folks, they don't really have anywhere for them to go. So I'm getting set up here to watch the live, give you live reactions to what the draft is going to do, and hopefully we can get a good connection here because I keep losing my feed. But we'll have our hosts come on soon and talk it through. But right now, it looks like, in all honesty, we have quite a bit of people moving around. Some strange choices going in there, but overall the presentation has not been anything worthwhile that we have seen. So yes, I'm logging on here. I'm trying to get this all set up for you. Make sure we have you all good and listening in correctly. And I'm missing out on it right now. It's coming in hot and heavy. So hopefully we can get our things moved here. There we go. So here comes Triple H again, coming up on top of the show. I'm assuming with 4 picks. Just like last time, if this actually works. Oh, and they've blocked the feed on that one. Have they blocked all of our feeds? I may not be able to tell you what's going on here. There we go. So I'm a little behind now. I am not live on this, but I'm listening. I'll give you the best I can. Right now, we have Triple H coming out. They seem to be all very happy about him doing this in Fort Worth, again in Texas. Weird that they're doing all this all in Texas again. They've got the giant table sitting out there with what looks like to be a championship belt next to it. But again, not many responses or reactions. We did have a couple of views last time of the NXT locker room during it as people were called up. That's what I was hoping for all the other locker rooms like we had in other drafts, but somehow it doesn't seem to be coming across that way. We had a Bianca Belair pre-taped one from her hotel room, which wasn't live, obviously, so she knew where she was going. So we come back to the whole thing of WWE had said nobody had known exactly where they were getting drafted to. They had no idea which place they would go to, so how can you have a pre-recorded reaction video to being drafted somewhere? It's kind of weird to me. So Triple H standing up there at the platform again. Let's see what he says here. And folks, I apologize if I go dead a little bit here. I am listening as I'm going, and this is doing the best I can for commentary. But honestly, nothing else has changed about this. The presentation is just a table. It is a table next to a table holding the World Championship, which looks basically like a butthole, which you cannot get around now with where it's placed. And on top of that, it's just an opening promo segment on Raw. Not the most grabbing your attention gathering, but here he comes. Crowd is loud there in Fort Worth, though. They are in for this. He's reading off the cards. He's reading his entire promo off the cards as well, so it seems like a Hall of Fame speech. This, again, not really interactive, but he's doing as best he can. He's setting the ground rules again for the draft. So he's just going to be over the basic roles again and the rules that he's set down, and he is not setting down again what the what the free agents are going to be here. We're actually wondering exactly what that means, if it's going to be a just rule of small, lower mid-carders that they can use as fodder, or are they going to be doing anything else? Yeah, that's basically my question here, is that what these free agents are, it's not a wild card rule as much, because they're not just people they want to see, but I guess since they don't have creative for them, like Von Wagner, for one, who has no charisma and is being brought up from NXT because he's big and Vince loves him, it seems like they're either Vince projects or people that they want to use as sure hands to lose all the time, like Dolph Ziggler or people in that ilk. Mustafa Ali, unfortunately, who was very good, but they're not using him in a very strange way. So again, we're looking at what can be in this draft. This is the way to end it out. And we can pull up kind of ideas of who can be drafted tonight, but it's going to be obviously the U.S. champion is going to be drafted, a bunch of other big draftees. The tag team titles could be being drafted right now. We do not know. We are still waiting to see here. I'm refreshing my feed here because obviously the stream is getting blocked on certain things because it's not supposed to be going, and I'm not watching it very legally, but it's okay. We'll get that there. All right, let's see if we get the first couple picks here. I'm just trying to get my feed up and running again, which it's not. Oh, well, we gave it a shot. I'm not much of a help here, again, without having a feed in front of me to watch. I'm being a personal person that doesn't pay for cable. Tough to have this go at this point, so I'll see what I can find here. Again, I'm sorry, technical issues on our side here. Trying to get things up and running, and things are not good. Well, I may be missing some of the picks, but we'll come back to them later. We'll talk about it as we go along. But yes, I'm here with you. I'm talking it through and trying to be as verbose and easily understood as I can. I'm waiting for this. Oh, I've just jumped in here. Rhea Ripley has been chosen for Raw. Not surprised. If they already have the Raw Women's Champion going over to SmackDown, they were going to do this for Rhea Ripley. We saw this coming a mile away. But then they're switching with the title. So how are they going to exchange the titles, or what's going to change? So she was obviously the first round pick for Raw. Here's the second. And so they're picking the U.S. champion. So Austin Theory is now going to SmackDown. Again, Intercontinental title being on Raw. Not on, again, the first round. No surprises so far. Rhea Ripley, Austin Theory. I'm wondering what the first pick was for SmackDown. I didn't catch that, so hopefully they'll reiterate that. I'll be able to see that in a second. But so here's the last pick in the first round. Oh, commentary by Triple H. Oh, Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins is going to SmackDown, I'm assuming? No, he's going to Raw. He's going to Raw. That makes sense. Send Seth Rollins over to Raw. He was the one that wanted to run for this, go after this title, so obviously he's going to be the one that you want. Oh, this feed is terrible tonight. I at least caught that much. I don't know what's going on with it, but WWE must have caught on somehow. I'm switching my servers again, see what I can catch. But I am having trouble watching. I don't know if it could be their feed as well that's just having trouble there too. Do not know. We're picking up on Discord, who could say? But the servers are having obvious issues getting set up and running here. I feel like it could also be my own technical things too. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm missing quite a bit here, folks. I apologize. I'm having technical issues getting this going. And of course, without anybody else that could have a better way of setting this up, it's very tough to do. So we are doing our best here to get this up and running for you so I can get back in, see what's going on. But other than that, 4 picks. I haven't seen the first pick yet, but the other 3 picks, nothing surprising. All the ones they had to address. Really, in this draft, it's more of we want to see what the middle rounds are going to be just because of the mid-cards that they would pull, things that we do, who they would pull from. I'm surprised Charlotte Flair wasn't like a first pick there or anything else, that she's still in the running for a lot of stuff here. But yeah, so I am hanging, waiting for this server to come back up and run around, but don't know what's going on here. Sorry, folks. Again, all you're hearing is me clicking, doing stuff about that, making sure that we have all this set up and running. And yeah, we're doing our best with it. We're doing our best. Unfortunately, as I've said multiple times, I am not someone who pays for cable or other things like that. So therefore, you're not going to have that much from me here till I can get some sort of feed. There we go. So now we're on Paul Heyman coming out here. So I'll get back to that when they can go through some of those other ones here. I did not catch that first one. Obviously, we're having issues with my stuff is going on, and I can't be up there. But right now we're sitting there, and basically I'm again, the draft itself is pointless in a lot of ways, unless you're going to have a hard brand split of any part, which I don't know if they will. Basically, it's just a little tough to be able to get anything through on this and to understand how WWE is going to hold all this accountable and keep people on the same brands themselves with a free agent rule in between. So I'm not sure exactly. Not exactly sure. And I am having nothing but problem with this feed tonight, so I may not be able to be that good. I'll have to let Mikey know that, and this may not be a thing. We may just report on it afterwards. But we're trying. We're doing what best we can. Good. Yep. Interesting you bring Paul out on Raw after being drafted to SmackDown just to talk about that. Weird. Feed is having trouble. I know that WWE is going after a bunch of these right now. They've been taken down a couple times. So we're doing our best. But this is interesting. I'm going to contact Mikey in a little bit, actually, once he gets out of his meeting, and hopefully be helpful. But again, I'm also on the East Coast, so I'm watching this live, whereas they're going to be at like dinner time for a lot of their stuff, a lot of my other co-hosts. So it's tough. And I'm low. I know I'm low, and I'm talking low in podcast range, almost like NPR. Doing my best here with it, but these servers are just not responding. I don't know what's going on here. Sorry for the dead air, folks. I am still trying to fix this up here. So again, my thoughts so far: jaded WWE fan, sort of lapsed fan, basically. Sorry, going back to this, Paul Heyman's just talking about the title and all that, and why we should be worried about it, and it's it's perfect. Like they already went in. They're trying to downplay this entire thing, anyways, and make it seem like it's not. It seems like a consolation prize to begin with, and Paul's just going after that thing now. But in general, as a Labs fan, I don't know if this will save it. There's too much Vince involvement in a lot of stuff, and yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be able to watch this and not think to myself that there could be so much more here. I do also apologize if there's any cat noise in the background. For some reason, my cat feels like screaming at this point in the night, and we don't know why. I think she thinks she's alone. I'll keep trying this, folks. I'll keep trying to see if I can watch any of this, but I may not be the best person to give you anything on here. It'd be for a lot of reasons. Mostly that I have ad blockers on my computer, and they could be blocking a lot of stuff. But then again, I want to keep myself safe while doing illegal things. Oh, good Lord. We're just running into issues on these servers, and I understand why. Oh, there's Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins interrupting Paul Heyman. Interesting. All right. So again, we know that the first 4 picks were pretty much ones they had to address for either championships that were sitting around or anything else. I wonder if they did do the tag champions or not. I'm pretty sure they probably did to keep them away from the Usos, but they may also be left later later in the night. But they got Austin Theory, they got Rhea Ripley, and they got Seth freaking Rollins. So, Raw got 2 of those and SmackDown got 1 or 2. I can't remember. So that's also interesting. They drafted Rhea outside of the Judgment Day, and they haven't done Judgment Day yet, so you'd assume they'd bring Judgment Day over to Raw. They weren't drafted last week. Why would they keep them on SmackDown? But so that's obviously the hope. The hope is that they'll push Rhea by herself. She has earned that at this point. She has definitely shown that she can carry that title and do other things with it. And I'm also really excited. They've shown a couple times, obviously, to make her look like she's getting beat up. She has one of the best DT sells in the business today. Like, she spikes herself hard. Like Zelina Vega on last Friday, giving her a DDT at the end of the thing there, she came in to beat her up, was interesting. And she, again, is the same move that they used in the Charlotte match to start, where the energy of the match at WrestleMania started to pick up, is when she spiked herself that way. Very interesting that she's going there. Seth Rollins obviously going to be going for that separate title. And we have Austin Theory carrying the U.S. title into Raw to be basically what's going around. It was carrying to SmackDown, because obviously they need some sort of title on SmackDown to be fought for, which means they're also valuing the U.S. title over the Intercontinental title at this point, which is interesting. To say the Intercontinental title has always been the workman's belt, and the U.S. title, while a good TV title, has never been one that has made anybody, even since John Cena. So having Austin Theory bring it over there, it's going to be a quick loss, obviously, to Bobby Lashley at this point. He's over on SmackDown, put it on him again. I don't know. But we've got Cody, we've got Seth. Brock hasn't been drafted yet. I'm assuming Brock's going to be drafted over to Raw tonight, because they're going to have to do that, unless they're not going to do that for Backlash. Because again, is Backlash a pay-per-view for both brands, or is it going to be one for just Raw stars, anything else? Are we going to have monthly pay-per-views for each one, or 1 month is one brand, 1 month is another? They still haven't addressed any of this. and yet the draft is going on for a brand split. So again, we have so many questions that are not answered. We have so many issues with the fact that it's just not presented well. It's just a wrestling day with a couple of extra things thrown in. There isn't a special part of this, and I'm wondering why I'm wasting my time. And now Paul Heyman has gotten on his phone talking to Roman Reigns. That's how they bring Roman Reigns into these things without him having actually to work. Does Roman get royalties from this? All right. They are singing. Very nice. The crowd is singing, Seth's singing, and Paul Heyman's complaining he can't hear the tribal chief on the phone, which is awesome. Seth's dancing around in a see-through kind of like piratey shirt, which is an interesting choice. From what I gather, he and Becky have just been going like, wait, can we find the most outrageous thing we can ever find and wear that, and who can wear it better? And they're one-upping each other back and forth. So I guess a couple goals there. Uh-oh. There we go. There we go. Oh no, Seth Rollins is pissing off the tribal chief. So I haven't said before, if you ever want to find me or listen to more of my voice things, right now I am putting together a website for my voice acting work, but I'm also available at the JV Lexicon on most social medias, and I do act, I do voice acting, I do a bunch of other stuff, so please find me, hire me, let me do stuff, and if Liquid Death, if you're out there again, I'm drinking you right now, I'm enjoying your product, really would love to have a little bit of your time to go to our audience and say, this is delicious stuff. Just tried the iced teas literally yesterday, loved them as well. All right, I'm not alone anymore. We're bringing in Mikey as someone's entering. At this point, Solo's coming down to the ring to save Paul's ass.
Juicy.
We're much talking about how I missed the first pick of the draft. We'll probably see it brought up somewhere else. But the other picks we've gotten so far, Rhea Ripley going to Raw, obviously, with the SmackDown Women's Championship. Austin Theory going to SmackDown, and Seth freaking Rollins going to Raw. That's where they left at that point. And now we have Solo almost kicking Seth's ass.
All right. I am going to figure it out. I will look at my news reports to see what we missed. But hi, listening audience. I'm happy to be here. I was expecting to be here.
They're now bored with me completely.
That is an absolute lie. Don't ever say that. I will forbid you.
There were a couple things of dead air where I was trying to fix my problems to get this feed running, which I'm finally going. I think I picked number 3 and it's working okay. But in general, it's the same setup. There's nothing new. The Triple H went over the rules, the same ones from last time, and there's been no difference in presentation so far. So we're gonna have 3 hours again of blah, which is gonna be interesting, but whatever. Mikey, your internet is so choppy now.
And it should be fine now.
Okay.
It had a weird hiccup. I know. I miss me too.
And apparently now the tag team champions Liv and Raquel are going against Bayley and Dakota Kai, not Io, on Raw. But didn't Damage Control go to SmackDown?
I don't know anymore, man. I don't know.
See, this is the thing. The brand split doesn't seem like it's going to be holding. Yeah, Damage Control's on SmackDown, but they're doing Raw. And so I'm thinking, when does this take effect? What is after the draft? Is Backlash part of this draft thing? I'm confused. And that's the other thing that's gotten me here is that they haven't explained how the inner workings of this are going to work. They're just drafting people, which is freaking bizarre.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah. So I the problem again, while I was here by myself, I was asking a lot of questions, didn't have a lot of answers, going through my thoughts about it, and just like hoping we get something different, and nothing different so far. But the SVU episode beforehand was disturbing.
It's it's so weird, but it is the USA Network, so
that's very true. Yeah, Mikey, basically that's where we are at this point. A match hasn't happened yet. Solo and Seth just basically almost got into it, and they've had the draft and then a promo. It's a 3-hour show. They got to build to it. So they don't have enough ideas to really carry a 3-hour show, but obviously we need to keep it 3 hours for all of our ad revenue here that we're getting for this, like Bud Light Seltzer.
All right, let me see what let's check on the social medias to see if I missed anything. Okay, here we go. So let's see. Okay, so now I see where the first pick got missed. So the first round of the draft going to Raw is Rhea and Seth, and then going to SmackDown, Austin Theory. Yeah, so Theory's going to SmackDown, and Charlotte is staying on SmackDown. So that was the pick you missed, Charlotte.
I joked that it was Charlotte, and so Charlotte was the number 1 pick, which is even more fucking ridiculous. You picked her. Oh my god, why? She's bodybuilding right now. She's not even going to be on SmackDown. I joked and I shouldn't have joked. I knew they would pick Charlotte first. Of course they would. Oh God. Again, not surprising at all, but still very. It gets me where I'm like, I know I shouldn't be angry about it. I know it's just wrestling, and but there's no reason for this. Just do it. Do it like Pat Patterson's international tournament that he won the first Intercontinental title in that didn't happen. Just do it off camera somewhere.
Yeah,
there's no spectacle to it. There's no reason for it for people. There's no event. So why do you need to take up your time with it?
That is very true.
To get us to watch, I guess. To get us to watch. We're watching. I don't usually, and we're watching.
Yeah, but like I said, it makes it better that we're watching together than what I normally do and watch it by myself.
Oh, that'll be me on Wednesday. Watching AEW all alone.
Aren't you? No, that's next week. You're there live, huh?
I'm not there live. Oh, no, I won't be there live. And it's not next week. It's in 2 weeks. I'll be watching it live in the hotel room.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. I thought you were going to be like in person. I was like, how dare you?
No, I'm just able to watch cable TV because I'm on a hotel room paid for by my job. Rhodes.
Le Rhodes.
Am I ahead of you? Am I behind you?
You're actually ahead of me this time.
Oh, wow. All right. I'm going to wait then and not tell you everything on there. Ooh, Adam Pearce.
It doesn't matter because like this, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
No.
None of this matters.
It doesn't.
Oh, my God. So they're hyping up the show. They're doing it normally. Mikey, so how are you feeling about the draft so far, about the picks, especially the ones that happened after the show on SmackDown?
They were very interesting. And in fact, let's go over those again for the listening audience because they didn't get that.
I went through all of them. I ran down all this stuff.
Okay.
You know those ones, we can do it again, whatever you want to talk about on that one.
No, okay. If you already ran through the night one, then I don't need to. But let me see. Really, I'm not necessarily surprised on the Saturday picks who ended up going where. I'm a little confused as to what constituted a free agent,
which they still have not clarified, even though there's been a couple social media posts that they think of what's going on, but don't know.
So I'm like, I swear to God, if all the champions get drafted to the main roster, I'll be like, what the fuck are we doing?
Not drafting Carmelo Hayes. He's not coming up.
You know what? You never know, bro. Because main rosters, fuck NXT. They've done it before.
And then they screw them over when they get up there.
Exactly. Need I remind you about how Karrion Kross was current NXT champion when he lost in like 14 seconds to Jeff Hardy?
Yes, I remember that.
It was a sad day for me. Not so much that Karrion lost, it's just like, this is NXT. This is the beginning of the death of NXT.
It's true. It's very true.
At least the black and gold NXT.
The match going on right now, though, all 4 graduates of NXT here.
Which, by the way, I do want to talk about that for our next standard episode because so after the current 4 horsewomen, a lot of people are like, who would you say are the next generation of 4 horsewomen for them? And I was like, I have my answer, but people might not be happy about it.
No, we're not happy about it. I already know that I won't be happy about it. No matter what your answer is, I just will contrarianly not be happy about it.
It's weird because these minus one of them, the other ones are just being thrown around all over the place. Well, actually, no, minus 2 of them. The other 2 are like being thrown all over the place. Yeah. So after Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha, aka Mercedes Moné, we'll talk about her at some point, but I can't wait for this Thursday, but that's for different reasons. My next generation of the next class of NXT girls who are going to become the horsewoman, and people are going to be upset with me when I say this. And just because, in my opinion, the next big 4 is Bianca, Rhea, Raquel, and Liv Morgan, honestly, which is weird to say.
Disagree. Totally disagree. 2 of them.
Which is fine.
Because Bianca and Rhea they proved themselves to be. But then you've got a couple of other ones you can pick from. I don't feel like Raquel's at that point where she's going to be running the division or anything else. She's really not good. She's not lived up to that. Liv could probably be in that conversation, but then I feel like also Io or Dakota, one of the 2 from Damage Girl, probably Io herself because she's going for the title.
Yeah, I feel like of the 2 right now, based on NXT and main roster so far, despite main roster being horrible with them, I think Io probably would be better. I just need once Raquel starts doing some single stuff and then starts running the division, then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna change my mind a little bit.
You mean when Raquel actually is given a character?
Yeah,
she's a smiley woman that's big and has a big back. Like that sets her apart. Other than she's larger, And like she has
Listen,
leaned into like the whole
outside
thing,
of my
so-
personal feelings and how I viewed the whole vaccination situation with her and what her thoughts on it, which was, but I was just like, I can overlook it because you're like one of the, outside of Zelina Vega, you're the only other Mexicana in this women's roster, man.
And I appreciate that there's a feeling, especially for like something close to you and like the way you grew up with that, but that's not forgivable for what she said about vaccination stuff and everything else. I'm sorry.
I know.
Your race and your background does not change the reason that you're making idiotic choices.
I
I'm
know.
also dating Braun Strowman, but
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
yeah, no. What I would love for Raquel is if she really wants to get into something good, is that either gets in a rivalry with or starts a tag team like Brothers of Destruction with Rhea, where they just wreck people. Get a heel Raquel going with her, and or make them both faces that they're just like really that good. That can be her place to be that. But right now she's just floundering and doesn't have much to do. She has the titles with Liv, but that was a thrown together team. I don't know. And the match so far has been okay. That was a fun spot there with Bayley reaching her foot out for Kai to tag her, and the referee calling it off. It wasn't a real tag, and then Bayley just like raking the eyes and do all the stuff behind the referee's back. Interesting stuff there. Again, some stuff that I'll probably see on Botchamania at some point, but I get you on that, Mikey. I just don't think that, and these are my opinions too. Like you could be very right that they're the new four horsewomen, but
I'm just looking at currently. I'm not saying that my opinions are like the end all be all, but in my opinion, just based on what I see, I feel like we both can agree that Bianca and Rhea definitely are part of that conversation, because outside of them being current champions, I feel like the last year or two, they've, despite some shitty booking and some creative, they have pretty much dominated a lot of the roster.
Since they came up, even with the weird booking they had early on in their career, they dominated enough that they were standing out. They were in a tier with Asuka for a while because Asuka was in that like in between with the four horsewomen and stuff, that she was also NXT coming up, but obviously that's been like squandered and squandered more. And now do we know if she actually asked for her release? Is that
I don't know.
Like,
it makes me upset. Asuka and I put Shinsuke in the same boat. Asuka and Shinsuke deserve better.
Oh, they do. And I feel like Asuka just needs to leave. There's nothing for her in WWE. They have done nothing to help her out. But she's also about done with her career anyways. She's really about done. So I don't know. I would love for her to go on a run, like tear through the WWE and like really be what she's supposed to be. But
I just want, if she is going to retire or quit, I just want one more run, and then I'll be like, I'm okay with that. But you know what? I want whatever makes Asuka happy at this point. That's all I care about.
That also may mean going home and being closer to her family. Who knows?
And I'm okay with that because that's what Kyrie did.
It's true. It's very true. And then Kyrie got to wrestle a bunch of people she never thought she would get to wrestle. And now she's in a cool women's only promotion again. That's getting some push from Bushi Road. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, they deserve better. Speaking of women deserving better, this is just a personal thing. But I'm excited to watch Impact on Thursday because at tapings we get the debut of Miss Trinity Fatu, aka Naomi, formerly known as Naomi.
Wasn't because CM Punk was in the back?
Listen,
wasn't this is Tamina was there in a green wig?
Yeah. Mercedes was also in the audience too, which was interesting.
Yeah, she was hiding.
Hiding. It's really sad that they can't go support Friends because it's depressing.
A little bit.
It's really depressing, but I'm excited. And again, this is what I brought up on Friday, but I'm gonna hammer it home while we're watching this match. I shouldn't be because this is the internet, but I get annoyed. I was just like, why are y'all being racist and sexist? And I was just like, you guys were praising Mercedes for doing this, but but now that Trinity's doing the same thing, they're dumping so hardcore on her, and I'm like, I don't get it.
I mean, it's the difference between Mercedes and her, I guess, for how they're viewed in the hierarchy of it. Like Naomi, for a lot of people, while she was a very good athlete, she wasn't as popular as Sasha Banks was in WWE. She never was.
I agree.
And she wasn't, in a lot of people's minds, as good a wrestler, but also just people are just not weighing both the same and not giving each of them a chance there. Like, if Trinity had showed up in NJPW or in Stardom, that might have been a different reaction than going to Impact, because Impact is also the redheaded stepchild for all of its good things in the women's division. It's still considered the redheaded stepchild of wrestling. So I don't know if her making that choice, like if Mercedes had gone there, again, she might have gotten some flack too for going there instead of AEW or anything else. Like, it's a stigma, which is not earned, but it's what it is.
And I understand, like, people shit on Impact a lot of the time too, and I'm like, I can see that because the Bischoff Hogan era of booking was
What booking?
that part outside of booking themselves.
Oh.
But I still hold true that at the time of this recording in 2023, Impact's booking of the women's division is the best across all the major brands between WWE and AEW.
They've got more to do. They have so much more to play with, and they build their stars up and give them work like creative. Mostly because their male stars suck, or at least a lot of them do. So
right now, there's not a lot of choice because Josh Alexander is out on injury. Mickie James dropped the title because she's out on injury. But I'm not mad that Deonna is champion again.
Deonna will have a good run with that. I think Deonna's going to have a good proper thing. I'm just saying the male superstars, the ones that they were building and had good things, all moved over to Ring of Honor basically, and are all over there now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So who are your main contenders? I will say, I think had Josh not got injured, it would have been a momentous occasion because at Rebellion a couple weeks ago, Steve Maclin definitely would have defeated Josh. I enjoyed the match, though, that we got between him and Kushida for the vacant title, which is weird to see. That match was so good.
It sounded like it was a lot of fun.
You guys can always go watch it back. Y'all have access to my Fight account.
It's true. We can. Do I want to take extra time? I don't know.
Probably not.
Now, Damage Control won, but they didn't win the titles. Helpful.
I swear, if we get a repeat of this we've done so well. I don't want a pre-show match. I don't want a pre-show match for Backlash.
I don't either. And I'm like, also, why are you having them win? If you want Bayley to break off from them and like do whatever else with Bayley is like going to be Booker T.
Oh, look at that. We finally got a women's legend to be part of the draft. Wow. It just took us how long?
But only because she's going up there with her husband.
I know. It's depressing. We're still beefing with some of the other women too. I'm like, you guys, I need y'all to get it together.
But in general, like, I thought if they're going to be doing this stuff, again, it seems like creative doesn't know what to do with it. You have Damage Control winning when they've been losing forever. What is going on now? Like, I don't get that.
I don't know. But yeah, so back to our Impact talk, right?
Yes, let's go to the Impact talk.
I'm trying to think. So if we're going to talk about big players, there's not a lot of them right now. For goodness sakes, at Under Siege in a couple of weeks, Steve Maclin will be defending that title against PCO of all people. No, not hating on PCO. I think the man does things that he shouldn't do at his age, but he's entertaining as all hell. But I know that Steve is going to beat him, and the narrative right now is Steve Maclin is basically Steve Maclin, I think, is doing what the Forgotten Sons was supposed to be in WWE, very all pro-American, like I can beat any Canadian because he hates Scott D'Amore right now. It's giving me really weird vibes. And I'm like, okay, Impact, at least the last 2 years I've watched, you have been very good to me of not pulling WE levels of bullshit. But let's not toe this line now.
The racist vibes are very tough from that too, because I don't want to get super political about it, but obviously that's the line you walk with that as well now, which is terrible.
And I'm just like, it was so weird because like the championship ceremony, like the changing of the guard thing, like I know what that is because I am a kid of a military person. And I'm just like, it was really weird to see this kind of thing in my wrestling. Like I know I suspend my disbelief for a lot of things when it comes to characters, but I was watching this and I'm like, okay, it wasn't bad, but like something doesn't add up here for me. I feel weird about it.
Yeah, no, I totally would get that. That's how I felt when they had the Forgotten. What's the name? The Forgotten Sons. I don't remember who they were. I just forget what their name could have been. But in general, they came off just the shade of the wrong end of Blue Lives Matter, and I was like, I don't like this on my wrestling stuff, but they're catering to an audience, so
yeah. Because PCOs, I'm trying to think. The only other
PCO was a Quebecer.
I will say, I do appreciate the fact that we do have husband and wife champions currently in Impact right now.
Yes.
Because Steve and Deonna are married. And by the way, I'm going to send you a video later. I saw it on Facebook. because this weekend Gunther and Jenny got married. And to watch the dance and the reception was something I did not know I needed from Gunther. I was just like, this man is my new favorite.
And didn't they just release an awesome new t-shirt of his too that I think my friend just sent me actually?
Yes.
Gunther with the handprint.
I want it. I want it, so I'm gonna get it when I in my next paycheck. I'm like, but
I have to save at this point because I want to get a Rivian. It's never gonna happen, but I want a Rivian real bad.
that would be so good. I'm trying to think. Honestly, Rich Swann could probably face Steve. I don't know how we're gonna get to it, but eventually we are down the line. I think the main goal right now, until Josh gets better, we're gonna get Steve Macklin versus Nick Aldis at some point.
Because he's now officially signed with Impact.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if not at Slammiversary, then probably Bound for Glory. But that's a long time for Bound for Glory because that's in October.
Yeah, I don't think they can carry it that far with that.
Slammiversary is in July, so I could see it to Slammiversary.
They're going to have to bring somebody in for a long-term part that's not feasible. It's got to be a name.
Because your other men at the moment, they're either in the tag. By the way, the men's tag team division is really good in Impact, in my opinion. But then you also your mid-carders are stuck in the X division scene. Like Under Siege just got announced today that Alex Shelley will be facing Trey Miguel for the X division title, which should be a great match, by the way. Trey Miguel is great, and Alex Shelley is Alex Shelley.
There you go. Even I know who Alex Shelley is, and I don't watch Impact. So
20 years of wrestling. It's crazy.
Him and PCO just have old people go at it. I don't know.
Yeah, the men's division is really interesting because
I don't think it's interesting. I think it's decimated. They have lost everything they needed to be able to carry that through. And luckily, their knockouts division is really good. But
they definitely need a resurgence of men's talent because their women's roster, there's a lot of things. They got some great talent. I will forever stand Trinity, but you have Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, Tasha Steeles, and then even your mid-carder women's, you have the Death Dolls, the Coven.
When they have women's stables, you have enough people doing all women's stable.
Masha Slamovich is fucking crazy. I love her. And then they signed Jody Threat from Canada. I love me some Jody Threat.
Isn't Masha like coming up soon? Don't they think that she's going to go to AEW soon?
No, I haven't heard reports of her going to AEW, but right now Masha definitely is in Impact a lot. And she's there. And she's currently the GCW hardcore champion too.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
Because she beat Nick Gage for the title, and it's crazy. I could see Impact has Jonathan Gresham and Speedball Mike Bailey too. So y'all can do something with that for now.
Maybe. All right, here's the next picks.
All right, here we go.
Aha.
Oh, I should be taking notes, huh? Yeah.
Damn, it took him this long to get those guys over there. Second round, too. That's surprising. Like, I thought instead of Charlotte, they should have been one of the first picks.
How rude.
How rude. But if they're on Raw, where are the Usos going? The whole bloodline's on SmackDown.
Interesting. I thought they would have put the Usos on Raw.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, of
course they do. Of course.
The Judgment Day.
Which they put Rhea on there. If they're going to keep them together, they need to put them on Raw. That makes sense.
I like Rhea's tweet. If my boys don't get drafted to where I'm going, everybody's effed.
I wanted everybody to be effed. I'd love to see that reaction. That would have been fun and drama-inducing for the draft.
Huh. I keep forgetting that Ray's officially part, not a separate. He's part of LWO.
He's the leader. The highest selling merch in the last couple of weeks right there. Again, nothing surprising other than the fact of keeping the Usos on SmackDown, which is interesting. And the Judgment Day, we knew was going to happen. Wherever Rhea went, they were going. But are they setting up then the Usos and the LWO to be the next big thing?
Very interesting. All right, I'm catching up on my notes real quick.
You do that. So far, nothing, as I said, nothing surprising, nothing out of left field. Not that we expect as much of anything from that, respectively. The WWE is not going to do much that they don't know right now. But I am happy the draft is happening now because, again, we talked about last time, when it was happening closer to Survivor Series, it made no sense going into that part of it. You definitely do the draft after WrestleMania when you actually can have a good hard reset for the season. Now, these two.
Oh, look, we're getting a repeat of Friday.
How else are you going to fill 3 hours?
That is very true.
Yeah, it's like we just saw this.
So I know, and I can say that because we were here when we watched SmackDown. Alpha Academy though.
Alpha Academy this time.
On WWE's social medias, I was laughing so hard because I guess they did a small little miniature tour around Europe, and they were in France. And there's a video of Alpha Academy. I forgot who they were wrestling, but they used French baguettes as weapons. It was hilarious.
Very nice. Gotta love it.
And I have a game tomorrow, so I can't see NXT live. I have to watch it later.
Oh, Muffin, I'm so sorry.
Listen, I will unapologetically be the person who watches NXT for this fucking brand.
You unapologetically watch Impact for this brand.
I like Impact and I like NXT to a certain extent. I will not appreciate, and it's nobody in this fatal 5-way of a group that we have, and I don't care. The haters can say whatever they want. I know it's shit, but I like it anyways.
You can see, the more you call it out, the more it's like we're gonna think, why are you protesting? Because no one's calling you out on it or have told you that you're an idiot for watching it. So
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I wasn't before. Like, this was when 2.0 started, and then I just saw the decline of NXT. There was a point where I was ashamed to tell people I watched NXT because the
terrible.
Yes, it was terrible, but I was like, but I'm still I'm being positive. Like, I could find certain things.
Oh, everyone's going to Tots now. Domino's Tots. Tots are delicious, and I love them to death. I don't want Domino's making Tots. Do we know if we're gonna have anybody else? I thought Minnie was gonna be in from the beginning of this. And he's kind of dropped off the face of the earth. I just don't feel like the other ones take it as seriously as we do. Adolfo putting his kid to bed, Jon having his kid have another class, and I say that I almost got in trouble for doing this tonight anyways, because although I had let Kier know about it, I didn't put it on the calendar, so they had made tonight the only night they could sew with Morgan downstairs, so they closed their sewing room over here to try to not get us as much noise. But they're like, had I known, I would have been able to plan better. I'm just upset about that, and they had every right to be upset at me for that.
I know, to be honest, the draft was, even though we planned it ahead like a week and a half or so, it was last minute outside of our normal schedule. I
still say we should have done just not watch the draft, but just done the draft from on 2K23 when we had time.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
Just a little bit. It's not your dad's hair loss treatment. Did you know that movie?
And may need Bosley in a little bit.
I'm losing mine. I just have long hair to cover it up, but I'm getting the widow's peak going back. Totally good stuff for our podcast listeners to be listening to on this, us live reacting, but there's only so much we can talk about, like how much we just haven't enjoyed this in general, and just I'm whelmed by this whole process.
Like, I'm not over, I'm not under.
I am just whelmed. And it would make much more sense if there was stakes to this, but there's not. Also, there's no trades. Like you get the trades in the NFL draft where like people will give away their pick for this to get this specific person, or they trade someone that's already on the roster over there. Like, it's a normal episode of Raw with an extra little segment in it. Plus, it'd be even better. Like, you do one of these drafts, you draft a UFC person now because they're under a Never. How weird would that be? Like, they don't announce all of a sudden, I'm drafting this person. They're in UFC. Now they're here.
Maxine Dupree.
How was Maxine Dupree with them? She got drafted over to SmackDown. Now they're on Raw. I think they actually got drafted to Raw. Alpha didn't, but Maximum Male Models did.
Yeah, you know what? Hold up. I still have all that info. Let me look it up real quick.
Well, I was thinking this with Maximum Male Models. Is Rick Martel dead?
I don't know.
Because if he's not, why don't you have a legend like him come in for that?
That'd be great. Yeah, Max and Male Models are on Raw. They got drafted on Saturday.
But Alpha Academy hasn't been drafted yet.
No, not yet. They probably will. They have to tonight.
They don't have to.
That's very true. They could end up being the second half, maybe, I don't know, tomorrow on the social medias or whatever.
Here's the other thing you pull on this one, if they were smart about it. If you're going to split up Otis and Gable, draft Otis to Raw, but not Gable to be with the models.
Yeah. So on
I would watch over and over again right here.
Honestly, I would too. Ricochet's great. Chad Gable is Chad Gable. Enough said.
Otis and Braun going at each other is actually kind of funny as well.
I really like these tag teams. Like Ricochet and Braun have grown on me.
That cell.
Yes.
That cell was awesome. But of course, they've got Braun in the match. He's got to do that to Braun.
Give me the big boys.
It's the bowling ball versus the meat monster.
Yes.
Did Otis even duck there? Like, he can't pull his neck down.
He is so tiny.
Side rope. Oh, that's right, because he can't move fast. Otherwise, he would go, ooh. And they'll never, wow. Okay,
oh my goodness.
Braun Strowman just picked up and slammed Otis.
I saw. Otis. We also need to make that distinction. Do we call him Otis or do we call him Otis?
Let him go back to Otis Dozovich.
Ooh.
That was a quick one.
I was like, give me 5 more minutes. Yeah, we have 3 whole hours.
Because we need a squash match. Oh, God. Let Otis be Otis. Oh, God, he's back. That means more NXT picks.
Yeah. Now, the question is, am I going to be excited or am I going to throw my phone across the room? You would think you would save Adam for last.
Of course not. No. He's already been in 2 parts of the storyline tonight.
That is very true.
Oh. I don't know, man. This feels like with my other job trying to get me to come back to work, where like they're just doing this without thinking through the logistics of how it's going to work. And
right.
They're going to have to pick up the pieces as they go along. But the problem, this is a multi-billion-dollar company that just got sold. And you're trying to make a product that people can follow. What is your plan? Seriously, what is the plan?
I have no idea.
And I feel like they're going to get away with this because we'll keep supporting them even without a plan because Vince McMahon doesn't allow a plan to happen. Don't know, man.
And like I said, once it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because we all agreed that we're going. Now, this is bad to say this on air because it's only just the 2 of us at the moment, but we all want to see this thing go buck wild, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's the thing. So I get it because it's easy. I'm gonna yell at Minnie, but I think he had to cover for someone today. Maybe I don't know if that's today or tomorrow, one of the 2. But anyways, I know it's a lot harder for some of you guys, especially with those of you as family. So it's easy for me to say you guys are doing it, but that's because I got nothing else going on.
Hi, I'm here.
I know, but I feel like you're my ride or die. You have been my ride or die.
Exactly.
Because the origin of this project was just me and you.
Yeah. And I ran into scheduling. It was my own scheduling problems that didn't allow it to happen. I don't know, man.
I remember for the month after that, it took me a while to finally just be like, yo, you have to understand when I say I'm not mad at you, I'm not mad at you. Like, you're making me feel bad because I don't want you to think I'm mad at you. I know, man, it's okay.
I'm mad at myself. That's what it was. But in general, it is tough for people to get involved with it. It's the same scheduling bug when you do things last minute with anything else, and you try to build your life around what you can. But in general, these things will happen. Is if you're covering this kind of stuff, even looking today. What was it? What Culture News today brought it up the fact that it's a bank holiday in England, so only one of them was in the office working on stuff because they're trying to give each other holidays off. But in the news world now, you're not allowed to have holidays.
I still have to talk to the rest of the guys about this, and I know this is a long ways away, but I'm officially done with the school year by June 7th.
Yeah.
Which means I have nothing. Which means I have nothing else to do between the end of June and pretty much until towards the end of August. So I'm looking because I love when the promotions we watch announce ahead of time when pay-per-views are going to be. So it's like, let me look at the schedule real quick. So depending on everyone's schedule, I'm thinking as another bonus, what's it called? Another bonus stream.
We got to think about that too. Because remember, I'll bring this up as the one with the family in the room. Summer is also the only time we get with our kids a lot of the time that are around in that respect. So it's tough to balance that. But because it's pre-announced, we can always look at it and see what happens.
So I'm thinking, and again, it could just be audio recording as we watch, but I'm thinking on Sunday, June 25th, I think that whoever's available, we can do Forbidden Door 2.
I will probably be in the air. So I don't know if I'll be. I want to, trust me, but I'll probably be in the air depending on my flight getting back from Chicago.
And again, if not, then we have All In and All Out as well. One of the two. I would love to do All In.
By God. Well, yeah. from the London. Hey there, Alfonso.
Hello.
Hi, bud.
I've been by myself for a while tonight. Okay.
I'm sorry. My son was being very difficult to put down.
It's always when you want them to go down.
I was feeling like I had to. Wow, Bad Bunny with the fucking kendo stick. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
The street fight on Saturday is going to be so much fun. Now, this actually brings up a good fact. So according to the reports I was looking at today, as of right now, Damien versus Bad Bunny is main eventing Backlash.
Not surprising for where they are.
I was about to say that makes sense for the location.
I still love that they bleeped out the cursing he did in Spanish. It's so great.
Yeah.
Mikey, do you want to go over the draft picks we've seen so far? So Adolfo,
okay.
Nothing surprising on this one either.
It's called a San Juan street fight. That makes me laugh. Throw pina coladas at each other, and someone has to roll up with a fucking yellow cart, and that needs to get fucking broken.
See, I give Adolfo the expertise in this because this man, outside of him being Puerto Rican, he grew up on the island too. So
there you go.
I love how Shawn Michaels is in a suit and he's wearing his sneakers.
I was about to say, and he's wearing a cowboy hat and sneakers.
Cowboy hats to cover the bald spot.
All right, let's see how mad I'm going to throw this notebook. They better not call any more champions because then we're fucked.
I don't know what they're going to do here, but I know that. So Adolfo, the giveaway here is that last time they had Shawn Michaels out here to do stuff, they announced 2 NXT call-ups. So
yes.
Obviously, that's the thought they're going to do it to him again.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, we'll see how this goes. If they got basically all the women's titles off that brand, I don't think they're pulling Carmelo, probably. I don't think they're pulling him.
Do you think they'll pull Wes?
Maybe.
All right, let's see.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's Brock.
Nobody cares.
Well, you're in the building, so they're calling out each other.
Wait, has Lesnar got drafted yet?
No.
Sir, what have we told you about this Undertaker jacket?
He's going to be wearing the gloves soon and the boots.
Cowboy Undertaker. Anyways, I don't really care about this segment, so I'm going to talk over it for a little bit. So, Adolfo, here's what we got so far in night 2 of the draft.
Okay.
Round 1, staying on SmackDown is Charlotte.
Okay.
First pick.
Yeah, she was the first pick, which is interesting. Going to Raw, and she's your current SmackDown Women's Champion, is Rhea Ripley.
Interesting.
Well, Bianca for SmackDown on SmackDown, so
yeah. So Bianca's on SmackDown, and she's the Raw. So we'll see what happens with those women's titles. Going to SmackDown is current U.S. Champion Austin Theory. So the U.S. belt is switching to SmackDown,
again,
and then
the Continental belt is on Raw.
And then ending round 1, Seth Rollins stays on Raw. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, then round 2, the first pick of the second round as your undisputed tag team champions, Sami and Kevin Owens. They are being drafted. They are, I want to say drafted / staying on Raw because they go between both, but they're exclusively on Raw. And I put that in air quotes for our listening audience.
Right.
Going to SmackDown is the Usos. So those 2 teams are being separated.
And the bloodline is now complete.
Now all the bloodline is on SmackDown. So that's interesting. Getting drafted to Raw is Judgment Day. So Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio are all on Raw. And then being drafted to SmackDown.
Local talent.
Yeah. And being drafted to SmackDown is the entirety of the Latino World Order. So that is Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, Del Toro Cruz, and Zelina Vega. So those 5 are now on SmackDown.
Point of information, the LWO merchandise is the hottest selling merchandise currently.
It is fire. I want to get it.
I do. Dude, I'm mad because I actually looked to check it for extra large because, I am a manly size. And it was all fucking sold out. I was so mad.
Double XL has been sold out and medium has been sold out apparently. Everything else is still there, but double XL and medium.
Yeah.
There was another shirt they released this week though that I want to get to. I was telling Mikey this. They released a Gunther shirt with Gunther at the bottom and a big handprint from where he chopped it.
Nice. Oh, Cody's coming out now.
Of course he is. They're in the building.
In my soul.
Round of the draft. Oh right, they have 3 hours to get through. They can have time.
See, I won't be watching. Yeah, I won't be watching Backlash live because I'm gonna go see Guardians of the Galaxy on Saturday.
Oh, see,
which is still a lot of fun.
Watch it live on Saturday. I'm seeing it at the drive-in on Friday.
Nice.
A double feature of that and Quantumania, which I haven't seen yet.
Yes. Here's the thing. Like, I'm in the grand scheme of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Quantumania to some people wasn't that great, but I don't have high expectations. I just go to enjoy it, and I enjoyed it.
Right.
They've been scrambling now to cover for Jonathan Majors because of the whole Kang thing. Did you hear what they announced?
No.
They're thinking they're going to try to move Galactus up to try to cover for Kang. So give Kang some time for it to settle and recast him, basically. And they want to cast Antonio Banderas as Galactus.
I would not be mad. I'm not going to be mad if I'm being honest.
I think that'd be really interesting. Puss in Boots as Galactus.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh, hang on. My kid got out of bed. I'll be right back.
It's okay. It's a commercial. It's fine. Nothing happened in that. They wasted an entire thing for that. What was the point of? They each beat up local talent. They each did a bunch of seriously.
Let me see. Yeah. Let's see. What other? I mean, they announced it literally after the show. Just in other wrestling news, in 2 weeks. No, next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, May 10th. We're getting a cage match with Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. I'm like, Kenny, I'm ready for it. I'm excited, but I'm like, Kenny, you need to be careful.
Where else were they going to go with that? There was someone else who was bringing up why would you put them together now? I'm like, because they've been going after each other with screwdrivers on TV. Something.
Something has to happen in that cage match because I still firmly believe we're getting blood and guts between these two teams at some point.
Oh, who else do they have for the Jericho Appreciation Society who's been in one as well? So
I don't know how to. The JAS. Now we're getting something between Jericho and Cole. Can we talk about this Britt Baker T-shirt though?
Oh God, yes.
So I'm
with her on a bit of it. I understand what she's saying, and I'm with her. If this was a man that was on there, no one would care. But at the same time, there's no context on the shirt like the other bloody shirts. If you're walking around with that shirt that you can't see it's a wrestling T-shirt, you're basically, it looks like you're just all about domestic violence.
I was like,
that's actually true. I didn't think about that, but you're right.
There's no context on the shirt, so how would you know?
And I'm like, Britt, I understand, but you also have to see it from where everyone else is standing. It's a woman with a black eye on a T-shirt and no context for it.
Yeah, because she brought up her blood and guts shirt and a couple of the other ones that she had, her lights.
But there was context for that one.
Yeah, it's an lights out and all that stuff on it.
And it sounds like AEW is getting close to announcing their Saturday show.
Collision is definitely hold up. Yeah. I have the date set because I've heard rumors when it's supposed to air. I think supposedly, I've heard it's Collision is on the 17th or the 24th, whenever
it's in Chicago, wherever it is.
Yeah, where it is in Chicago. And I want to say it might be the 24th because actually, no, it might be the 17th. The point being, I think we're going to get that announcement either at the end of this month or soon. But more importantly, and this is just me, once Double or Nothing is over, I'm like, all right, AEW, let's do a better job than we did last year. You have 4 weeks to build to Forbidden Door 2. But I feel like we're getting small hints and bits here.
Yeah. Forbidden Door 2, Forbidden Window.
Forbidden Window. In Ontario, Ontario, Canada.
Ontario. Oh, yeah. I hope they can do something. I'm worried about also the Saturday show being where they split the roster, basically, like a brand split, basically, where people that don't want to work with
others, supposedly.
Yeah, vice versa.
Yeah, that was the rumor.
That's the whole point of it, to keep CM Punk happy and make so FTR doesn't get to fight the Bucks because they're best friends with CM Punk. I don't know. There's just too many shows now, and they don't have enough good creative to get the shows they do have. Oh, he hit him in the ear on that one. He wrote to full fist to the ear. That could have popped an eardrum.
Fucking Shawn Michaels.
I swear, even Shawn Michaels is over this shit.
On the first night, didn't they draft to Raw the NXT Women's Championship?
Women's.
Hold up, I got it.
I think they
so the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Alba and Isla, they got drafted to SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Asuka.
Honestly, I think Asuka should move to SmackDown. Give her more of things to do.
Yeah.
Will she do anything? I want her to. She's really good. Also doesn't show the first women's Royal Rumble winner on there, just former Royal Rumble winner.
New Day to Raw.
Oh, didn't say Big E though. Didn't say Big E.
He is still technically recovering from, what was that, neck surgery or something like that?
Yeah, they had surgery on it, but they had brought up that he was available for the draft, which they said that like he was back. So I was like, what are they going to do with that then? Because why would, if he's still injured now, why would you put him on as for a drafting thing?
Okay, so the Brutes are staying on SmackDown.
God damn it! But Drew's on Raw, so no more Drew and Sheamus. Interesting. So that's putting some people in different places that we thought they would go, but also not utterly surprising. Again, I'm not seeing Big E in the draft pool. Is he going to be a free agent somewhere until he gets off the injured list? What's happening with that? I thought they were breaking up the Brutes to put Sheamus somewhere. That's also interesting.
I guess not.
Oh God, Matt Riddle. I just went back this week and watched a Matt Riddle Will Ospreay match. It was really interesting. PWG. Short-haired Matt Riddle. Oh, Kevin does not like Matt Riddle. See?
Okay, so hear me out, right?
Yeah.
I don't want KO to turn on Riddle, but I do want him to get annoyed with his shit.
He already is annoyed with his shit.
More so than he is now. So hear me out. So what I'm thinking is maybe, just maybe, if a Mr. Randy Orton is ready to go by SummerSlam, I would love to see these two feud for the titles at SummerSlam. That's just me, though.
Yeah, but he's another one that's had like neck surgery or something like that.
He's been out for quite a while for some problems.
Or not neck, but like spine issues or something. I don't know. Again, and this is just my own personal take on it, right? When you get when you have to go through a severe surgery on a big body part like that, like your neck, your spine, your knee, you really need to reconsider like your options, because especially when it comes to like your back and your neck, being in a physical profession like wrestling or boxing or something like, or like football or whatever, like you're literally one drop away from having a really bad day. You know what I mean?
True. It's also the mentality in this business that has always been. It's that carny style of you really can't take a day off. You can't deal with anything else. You can't show that. So you work your way back to it if that's your life, and you just put yourself out there and have a shortened life because you work this job. It's not a good thing, but that's where it sits.
Yep.
So like, how do you balance that with, because for Randy Orton especially, like Big E unfortunately had not gotten as far as he probably could have, and he was still in his prime. Randy's at the end of his career. Like, he's already made a thing of it. I can see not wanting to rush back, do anything else like that. You've done everything. You were literally just like there to fill a spot and be a kind of a elder statesman. And so Big E, it sucks because he gave his life over to this. Like, he can't do his powerlifting now that he did also. Like, his whole life has changed, and he's still positive about it, and he's still a great person to be on the mic and stuff, but that's what he wanted to do. That's what he gave his life for, and he's now unable to do it. So, of course, if he got the chance, he'd come back. Like all these people that had spinal stenosis, like Edge and Paige and all them that are back now, that like you take the wrong neck bump and you'll be knocked out again.
I forgot that this match was happening at Backlash. I'm going to be completely honest.
It's because we thought it happened 3 times already.
Also, as a side note, I want Matt Riddle to go back to like his booty shorts kind of short ring gear, not what he's wearing, not this, not the standard trunk. I don't like it. I'm sorry, that's just me.
Naked because he has no knee pads, no boots, no elbow pads, no anything. He's literally
that's
just
what
out there in his underwear. Yeah, you're bad. I did love when we were there. I was at Backlash, not Backlash, at Elimination Chamber and stuff like that. The people that are either contrarian or like very much just like all about the Usos, like pointing the one finger up when everyone else was cheering for the baby faces, or saying F you to the baby face ones. Like, they hated Kevin Owens, they booed him, they booed a bunch.
Really?
Oh shit.
Really? He's just really?
Yo.
Eddie Guerrero'd it.
That's funny as shit. I love it.
Come on. How many times listen, I'm not gonna lie, I never get tired of it. Ricochet's is still my favorite. When he hit the chair and then threw it to Cedric Alexander, and the way he fainted onto the floor.
He did the falling flat back. It wasn't even like taking a regular bump. He just fell over.
Yeah. Dude, when Kevin Owens went down, I was like, what the fuck? Was there a sniper?
Nope.
No. I see. Okay.
Love it. You go for the Eddie Guerrero spot. It's so good. And then I love like going back and watching when he tried to do it with the belt and and then Ray threw it back to him so he had to lay on top of the belt and the ref's like checking him for it.
Yeah. That was good. That was good.
So far, draft, meh. 3 hours of this. Yay. Honestly, it actually had more action.
I'm not going to lie. Despite the wonky finishes and some of the injuries, Spring Breaking was actually pretty decent last week.
Wasn't terrible. Was not terrible. I watched it live. Wasn't terrible at all. Wasn't great.
Having triplets is amazing. So we switched to the bargain.
No, I just also see. I didn't catch that it was Saul Ruka getting beat up out there in the outside that glass door. I had no idea who was getting beat up. It was just because the video was so weird and like shaky and stuff. You were way ahead of us there, Adolfo.
I know.
We just got to that Kane Bueller's thing. We just heard the thing in the background.
Oh,
That's hysterical because we're watching it illegally.
Yeah. I'm all bougie. Okay. Bougie watching on Hulu. Okay.
You can afford that.
Technically, I would be watching this on my television because, I actually have cable, but I can't really. It's hard to try to record when you're sitting on the couch.
Yeah. If had my son not also be using the Hulu account, I would have been like, just here's my Hulu account. Let's just watch it on my account. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I'm just not cool enough to have those accounts. I haven't paid for any of that stuff. I know 18,000 other streaming things that my daughter watches and my partner and I watch, but we just don't have Hulu and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's really sad because, like, my students are like, Mr. Leguillo, did you watch this new show? I'm like, no, because I'm like teaching and I don't have. People don't understand. Like, my friends understand and they give me a little shit for it, but I'm dead serious when I said, I'm like, you guys, like from September until June, what is the social life? I barely have time for any of that.
Welcome to being a parent. I don't think my partner and I have caught up on half the things we would watch together at all because if we get a night together to watch something, it's rare. And it would have been tonight if I wasn't doing this.
Yep. Yeah,
So
I kind of looked out because Alice is watching movies with our family friend on Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
we can edit that out.
Yes, we will. Yeah, totally. We'll fix it in post. Just like the first 20 minutes of this podcast.
No, we're definitely keeping that in.
Yeah, the long silences while I was trying to fix the feed because I couldn't watch it.
Listen, if I was able to get an hour by myself on Super Bowl Sunday with my family yelling and screaming their heads off in the background.
Why didn't you invite them on?
They were watching the game. And how do I put this? My mom is slowly coming around, but she only really watches if Roman's on screen. But that's not because of storylines and talent. It's because he's hot.
Because
and
he's big hunky man.
He's hunky. That is okay. That is okay. Because as one of the resident bisexuals here, like I can see that.
Bisexuals?
I'm like I call it a bisexical, like a bicycle, because I can ride both ways.
Oh dear Lord. Your chain reverses.
Listen, I'm finally it took a damn while, but I'm comfortable in saying all this now.
Good. I'm glad you're comfortable saying it. You should be comfortable saying it. Oh, good. More super kicks. I did love the Bucks posting that thing about they wanted to fight the Usos just to see who set the world record for super kicks. Because that's all it would be. It'd just be super kick after super kick. There's another one. Also, the Usos' red sneakers are starting more and more to look like those like weird boots that Seth Rollins wore the other time.
I want one of those so bad, just because I think it'd be hilarious.
What? So explain that to me. Why it'd be hilarious? I'm old. I get them; they look like Mario boots, but
that's pretty much really it.
I thought there was like something else like behind it.
I was about to say, when did fucking sneakers become ring gear?
Since they got to deal with Nike to provide Jordans for everybody.
Yeah. See, if it were me, and I think the only two wrestlers I have seen them, I was just like, Nikes are overrated, and I don't think they're really good in terms of like grip wise. And if you're like, not even wrestling, but just athletic wise, if I was looking for a shoe to protect my ankle, and this is just me because I'm a sneakerhead, right? Well, Cora Jade and Roxanne, like they wear some sort of iterations of Vans. I've seen Cora do Converse. I'm like, girl, Converse, you do not want to wrestle in Converse. They're cool, but the high tops are very thin and like you are always having to adjust. But Vans, I've seen wrestlers wrestle in Vans skater shoes, and those things are durable, and the grip is great.
But yeah, I think there's like a deal with Jordans and stuff like that. But also, I know wrestling boots are freaking expensive if you want to get leather ones or anything else. And since all the wrestlers have to pay for their own gear,
Yep.
hence why Matt Riddle wrestles in nothing.
I always still feel I was like, Riddle, you're gonna break it. You're gonna break something. I'm afraid like you're gonna get like ringworm.
Ringworm.
I mean, come on, man. That's like walking barefoot.
Trench foot. No, that's usually when they have him like locked up in mind. He'll be fine. Get the stuff you get in like showers at college.
God, I hope that we get a shake of the commentary team, if at all.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I think so. Oh, have Wade Barrett and what's his name here? Not Corey Graves, but the other guy.
Yes.
Todd something.
It makes me upset because these video packages are always fun to watch, but I was like, oh, EO, you don't stand a chance, girl.
Oh, hell no. Which is sad because she's freaking amazing.
Yes. But I'm excited. This match is going to be great because their NXT matches have been fired.
Exactly. And they know each other well. Are they going to show when she fought her in NXT? No.
The queen of war games, in my opinion.
She jumped off the cell in a freaking trash can.
She Oscar the Grouched it, and it was amazing. That was my grandma's favorite spot when we watched it live.
I showed my friend who would never watch War Games, who watched Survivor Series War Games first. That was the first one. And so I showed him a bunch of other ones from NXT. I'm like, here's Io Shirai.
Nice, Adolfo.
Yeah, you are.
You know, Oscar the Grouching it. He was surprised how good the Viking Raiders were in the old NXT War Games because those are really.
I still think my favorite pop is like when Team Ciampa was looking for a fourth member because it was him, Keith Lee, and
wow.
And then just Kevin Owens blew the roof out of that place when his music played.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel.
Wow, Bischoff.
I never know how I feel about Bischoff.
He's been all over the place lately too. Like he's been like going after people. The Rob Van Dam's back, of course he is.
They couldn't get any. They couldn't have gotten anyone else.
Boogs and Elias.
Boogs is jacked, bro.
Yeah, but why is he hanging out with Elias now? Like Elias, who's been gone down the card so far.
I want my internet to work pretty much everywhere.
It'd be nice. Hello.
I'm here.
Oh, I heard it like creak.
Yeah, I know.
Did someone open the door?
Is it a ghost?
No, that's just my knee. No, that was so my TV setup. My son's room is in essence behind me, and like I had said earlier, he's being a bit obstinate about going to sleep tonight.
Of course.
And my wife came out. That's why I muted the mic, and she said to me, "I haven't eaten dinner yet." And Loxus, who's still awake with those ears, "Mommy."
Oh, no. They know, man. They know.
Always out listening for it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm interested for this movie only because from what I heard, like it gets dark at some points.
I was about to say, I was reading a review today that
it is not suited for children under the age of 10.
Yeah. If
my daughter's going to see it on Friday.
Oh no. But she's your child, so I think she'll be okay.
She's seen the other ones.
But again, she is the child of one JVL, so I think she will be okay because that is a different breed.
Well, the other part of it is we were talking about this, that, you know, Kira was talking about how we needed to make sure she saw the first two before she saw the third one. She'd seen the holiday special, but not the others. I'm like, you forget though, she needs to see Infinity War and Endgame because Gamora died.
Because that's where
that's right.
But the problem is that if we watch those two, she hasn't had the proper setup from the other movies. We don't have time to watch the entirety of Phase 1 and 2.
Listen, I know everyone.
Like, we'll talk about it as we go along. We'll figure it out. She's
she's great.
You saw a review today, Adolfo. What did it say?
I'm sorry, what? Oh, so the review for Guardians 3 is pretty much if you're expecting like a laughy joke movie like the first two, prepare to be disappointed. That it gets dark, and we're talking like kicking puppies type dark.
Oh yeah, no.
So
knowing the storyline they're adapting, I'm not surprised at all about that. Especially with Rocket's bad story. I'm also pretty sure they haven't announced it, but they pretty much set up that multiple people are not going to make it out of this movie.
Yep.
So, yeah, I fully expect that it's going to be a sadder movie, which will be funny for us because we're going to see it at the drive-in and then see Quantumania afterward, which is apparently terrible. Oh, geez. He's a free agent. Of course he is. He's part-time.
Let me write this down.
And also, that's the only way WWE was going to keep him in WWE.
Oh yeah, easily.
Because he's a part-timer.
And yet, Roman got drafted to a brand, and he's a part-timer.
Technically, that is very true as well.
Wow, nice job speaking Samoan there, Paul. Oh, family squabbles, brothers. You can tell they're spinning their wheels on the storyline. They should have pulled the trigger at WrestleMania, but no. Let's go off camera and then laugh at you.
Oh boy.
I love Paul Heyman. I love him so much.
I do too.
Oh man, I haven't seen Seth freaking Rollins wrestle in a while.
Not since WrestleMania.
That's very true.
He had that one epic fucking match that the night after WrestleMania.
That's right, yeah.
That when he came out and sang.
That was an amazing match. Definitely. They didn't change on the fly.
See, let me have hurt feelings real quick. Why? Because I feel so bad because me and Minnie wasted our fucking time with that Raw after Mania. We wasted our time. We had pizza and we enjoyed each other's company, but I was so pissed.
And now we're definitely wasting our time with this 3 hours of crap.
Yes.
Rob Van Dam.
The whole effing show.
Mr. Monday Night.
Mr. Get in the good with the kush kush.
I want those sneakers.
Honestly, though,
they dressed the same.
And Eric Bischoff says, the first draft for WCW.
Yep.
Fuck WWE. We're bringing it back.
AEW. Easy E.
All right.
I love that he doesn't even need to be with a microphone. He's just screaming.
We knew that was going to happen because her and Becky are going to be feuding to SummerSlam. So, of course, she needs to stay on Raw.
Yeah.
Listen, I do love me some Trish Stratus, though, but.
Truth, but. Oh, wait.
You're ahead of us. Adolfo.
Yes.
You're ahead of us.
Sorry.
See, Lex?
Yep. Okay.
Good.
Interesting.
Wrestler 7.
But see, I like that he's becoming a tiny bit scary, but I have questions, though.
He has nothing about him. Signature move.
No, but I have
Nothing
questions,
else.
though.
Nothing else. Shayna Baszler.
Wow.
Both of them. I was hoping they'd split them up. What the fuck is on Shayna's face?
I'm telling you, she needs to stop using Ronda Rousey's makeup artist. I'm just saying.
That looks like post added in like in some sort of like Photoshop.
I wanted him to be on Raw, but that's okay.
Me too. I did want him on Raw, but
yeah,
have him going for the IC title. Have him going for the US title now. Beat the crap out of Austin Theory.
That'd be a
LA
thing.
Knight, no accolades to talk about. Nothing at all. You can bring up the signature move of carrying cross, but nothing for LA Knight.
Can we talk about it? So I have questions, right? Because currently, Karrion and Shinsuke are in a feud, but now they're on separate brands.
Yep. It's as if they didn't plan this at all.
No, they did not. Some bullshit. I was looking forward actually to a Shinsuke versus Karrion match, but I guess we're not getting it now.
They got to save it for the SmackDown versus Raw pay-per-view.
Exactly. The one night a year where both of them are going after each other. I
swear, I hope with this brand split, they don't bring back this brand specific pay-per-views where we get 2 pay-per-views a month. That's too much for me. I'm sorry.
They don't have the creative to do that. They can't fill 3 hours on Raw.
And you can't have the magic that was 2017 SmackDown. Or no, 2016.
How much do you want to bet that War Games ends up becoming Raw versus SmackDown?
We're going back to that.
I can see that.
I don't want it to be, but I can see that.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler. That's going to be on Botchamania.
Listen, I know she's hurt, but Eric Bischoff, you better make sure that you don't find yourself in the dark alley by yourself. Shayna Baszler is going to come beat you up.
Break you.
I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised that Shinsuke is still with WWE because it's been a hot. Because I was like, oh, he's doing free agency stuff. So is he like going to be done with WWE soon? Because, you know, he had his match with Muda at the beginning of the year.
Right.
I don't care what nobody's. This entrance always gets me.
What the fuck is Miz doing? They're just setting this up so Cross can attack him. So this is my other question then. So if they still have all these pieces of creative going on, when does this draft take effect? I think I asked you about this, Mikey. You don't know either. Is it after Backlash? Is it before Backlash?
I'm assuming that after Backlash is said and done, then we just now. Here's the thing. I would set this brand split in stone after Backlash. But you want to know when I think that we're going to set this in stone?
When?
We're going to set this. If not Backlash, I get the feeling that we're going to get this brand split set in stone after Night of Champions when we crown a new champion.
Oh, the 1,000 days of Roman Reigns.
After the Saudi show, then we get the brand split. Now, hear me out, right? So, based on the fact that Night of Champions is going to be in Saudi Arabia, I've been hearing rumors of who should be in the finals for that. I don't think there should be a final. It should be a fatal four-way. And I've seen names like AJ, Finn, Seth, and Shinsuke thrown around there. Like, just those four go out. I was like, I would love that. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
At all. I'm also sitting there going, again, they have to get the tag titles off of Zayn and Owens before Saudi, because Zayn can't go to Saudi unless they don't defend the tag titles, which Night of Champions. Or oh no.
Why can't he go to Saudi Arabia?
So Sammy's Syrian heritage, he does a lot of work with a lot of charities that like help the Syrian refugees, and he's been vocal about
not going to Saudi Arabia.
I won't be around that. They've oppressed my people. They've done a bunch of other things.
Oh, okay.
And so
like he's actually yes, like Sami Zayn walks that walk and talks that talk.
Got it.
And he, like, the first year that they still gave him like money for being part of it, and he gave it all to his charity because I'm not taking their blood money. I can't do this crap. So you have him as a champion. I just had a brainstorm, and I don't want it to be true. You're setting up Kevin Owens being annoyed with Riddle.
Yeah.
They freebird it because Sammy can't go on the week before Saudi. They say Riddle's got to take my place. He's my bro. He'll do it. And they lose the titles in Saudi when Sammy isn't there. It's stupid.
I don't like that.
But it's a way to get themselves out of the corner.
That is very true.
Has Shin spoken this entire time?
Not yet. Which makes me upset because I know why. Because WWE doesn't like people having foreign talent speaking their native language.
And who better than the face of Monday Night Raw?
It is what it is. I'm just
hear
like
him in the background of Adolfo.
I know. Nah, we're good.
It's hysterical.
I'm upset. Let him speak Japanese. That's just me.
There, so you're about like 5 to 6 seconds ahead of us, Adolfo.
It's hilarious.
That sounds very positive. Was that like awesome?
No. Oh, but Tiff. This is so cringe.
Shin just wants to kick his head off.
Here's the thing, like, Miz is down for whatever, and I always appreciate that, but can we be done with this whole gimmick? I hate this. I hate this bit.
Yeah. Is he going to punch him in the dick too? Obviously, his whole thing is about his balls.
That shit's scary. That was dope. I love that.
Just a little bit. All Shinsuke wants to do is just go surfing. That's all he wants to do.
Yo, can we hear me out? She needs to work on her character, but Team Sol Ruka and Shinsuke together. That is a tag team I never knew I wanted, but need.
Jesus.
That was brutal.
He was trying not to hit the chairs and stuff too.
Oh, Shinsuke. What have they done to my boy?
Did he have to dye his hair?
Who, Shinsuke?
Yeah, he's all like lighter brown now.
I mean, it might be the lighting, but you know what? Like, you're right. It looks like he dyed his hair.
I don't know whether that was like he did a blonde dye job and like took it over that, or like he's actually going white.
Who knows?
Oh my god! So this should be a good thing here.
Get him off my screen! No,
he's a free agent too.
I still need clarification on those rules. Like I said earlier,
there are no rules
because I'm trying to figure out like him, Ali, Dolph Ziggler, Von Wagner of all people. They're all free agents.
Why did you call? They call Von Wagner because they have nothing for him to do, but they're not going to have anything for. He's just going to lose every week.
Okay, so since we're talking about NXT real quick and we're on a commercial break, right? So let me tell you who I don't want called up right now. Granted, I didn't want the champions to be called up on SmackDown, but you know what? I feel like And if Trips is truly in charge of SmackDown, I am more confident that he will book Alba and Isla better than if they were to be on Raw. Like, I'm worried for Indy. I mean, we're probably going to get a reuniting of the Way at some point, just without Austin Theory since he's on SmackDown now. I don't. Vince is going to. It's not if he fucks it up. It's Vince is going to fuck it up.
Yeah, I thought you want Gargano over with Trips for when Ciampa comes back because they want them to take care of them. But I don't know.
Yeah, DIY. So I feel like Zoe is good to be called up to main roster because she's floundering NXT. I feel like JD has reached the end of whatever he's going to do. Here's who I don't want right now.
Okay.
Granted, I want Braun and Carmelo to stay, especially since supposedly it was announced that we haven't got it confirmed that those two are fighting at Battleground for the title. So I was just like, it would make no sense to pull them up. I don't want to see Wesley be pulled up right now because I think I still want to see him and a few other people square off for that North American title. I don't want to see the Creeds pulled up yet because the men's tag team division, now that Pretty Deadly are supposedly being called up soon. If the Creeds leave, that doesn't leave a lot of men's tag teams left because all that would be left is Gallus and Tony and Stax. And nobody else as an established men's tag team. I mean, they just
killed into the main roster anyways, because whenever Tony fights anybody now, he puts them in a trunk and he kills them, and so then they go up to the main roster.
Plus, I'm sad. I was just like, I feel like Gallus and Pretty Deadly could have had a couple more matches in their feud, but it is what it is.
Those could have had matches with anybody else too. Like they literally have amazing matches.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. What was I going to say?
Wesley was a tag team, weren't they? Or
because remember, it was MSK, so him and his tag team partner, and then all that went down. Yeah, and Wesley Wesley was floating for a long while because they were trying to get him to be a single star.
But he is one now. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Now, as far as who I think should be called up, I think Roxanne honestly is ready.
Yep.
Let me see.
Flyer and Isla Dawn, and we're pretty much ready anyways.
You're right. I'm trying to think who else. Honestly, those are pretty much my don'ts and my do's. I'm in I think Korish needs to stay a little bit longer.
Yeah, she needs some more. I think Dragunov needs to be called up. But
yeah, Dragunov definitely needs to be called up. But first, I want him. You call him up after him and Dijak have this match that we're building to, honestly, because that's going to be a banger of a match.
Backlash, they can wait.
Once Battleground is done, then you can start pulling people up and putting them on television. But I want this Dragunov and Dijakovic match because that would be baller.
It would have been hysterical, or like a mirror match. Is you have Braun and Ricochet versus Dijakovic and Dragunov.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh god, his entrance takes forever.
Yes.
And his matches suck. And apparently he's like a nerdy sweetheart. Like I'd be friends with him in real life, apparently. But
I heard that too. He's a weeb. He's a big nerd.
He's wearing a Naruto style hood. Come on. He's too big for just one hooded sweatshirt. We had to cut it off at the arms and the center.
No, I just like Naruto.
Yeah, it's very much. I love that every big guy they've tried to recreate something about Andre the Giant, but they're missing some part of the DNA for every big man because Andre could move and do his stuff. Like he was actually like good at this, but at the same time, they're not charismatic like he was. They're not. Maybe this day and age, because they have to use them so much, they can't be an attraction. I don't know. But even these squash matches suck.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, how do you make almost pop?
Have a mouthpiece for him like MVP that can keep him going. We had Bobby the Brain Heenan, but I don't know. Have him be more than just a giant. Like Andre was a big goofy guy. He'd play around with people. It wasn't just being a bad guy.
Right.
Andre was a good guy for his entire career until he came into the WWE. So have him do something more than just going through people. Put him in a bunch of battle royals where he can show off. Have him show why he's big, not just fighting squash matches against local talent. Oh, the choke bomb. Oh, Jesus Christ. And he almost tripped stepping on him.
That was boring.
Right? Yeah, it was.
Yawn, I blinked and I missed, but that's okay.
You didn't miss much. 2 moves.
Honey, you can come over and give some commentary as well.
Oh, we'd love for you to. Please.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're always here for it.
Mikey and JVL want you to come and help give commentary.
Give us a good perspective, please. We're sitting here just like, what the hell?
Here, I'm going to take my plate back. Mike, JVL, this is my wife, Alice. Say hi.
Hi, Alice.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you loaning us Adolfo every once in a while.
You're welcome.
We hear that you've been watching some stuff with him and had actually some really good takes on things of like, why is this happening? This makes no sense. What the hell are they thinking? I love everything you've said so far about WWE that he's told us. So we'd love to hear your thoughts.
That's really nice.
It's genuine. I agree with you on a lot of it.
Oh, I have an interesting take on it, I guess, from like a performing standpoint. But yeah, as storytelling wise and stuff, there are some choices that I would not have gone with.
Choices is a correct term for that.
Yes, that is the choices were made.
Oh, the performing standpoint, I lost my taste for their performing long ago. Even being an actor and an improviser myself, I'm like, I just have to know that's going to be terrible because it's never good. But storytelling wise, surprisingly for the last year, they were starting to grasp how to tell long-term stuff. And then mustachioed Vince McMahon decided to put his dick in things, and all of a sudden it's bad again.
About to say, yeah, unleash little Vince.
Oh God, I can't wait to hear those voiceovers that John's doing. Molly Holly and the Road Dogg. Seriously. Oh, so have you been watching any of tonight, or like I heard you were watching movies with some friends? So
I've only really saw the match with the Giant.
Almost.
Oh, good. You watched the best one of the night.
The best match. The bestest.
No, there were better matches tonight, but I'm sorry you watched that.
Yeah. I sat down and I think the first thing I said was boring.
Yeah.
It's 2 moves for the match. The entrance was longer.
Yeah, when the entrance is longer than the match, you might have an issue.
You do have one.
You do. You're not might.
So I'll ask you this: like Adolfo and I were talking about this. Like, how do you make a giant like that watchable? Especially when he's still pretty young in his career. He doesn't know what he's doing in the ring, and he's obviously not good on the mic. That's why they have MVP be his mouthpiece. How do you sell him as something you want to watch?
You pair him with more interesting people. So, for example, this match was really a poor setup, right? You want someone who's nimble and acrobatic to counterbalance him being the giant in the ring, right, which I think would make him more entertaining to watch.
Substance. Weird.
Right. Or like like you said, he's not good on the mic, which is why he's got someone else. But give him like a line instead of just roaring, right? Give him a line.
Yeah.
Totally. Give him some personality, because right now the only thing that he has going for him is that he's very tall.
He's tall
and angry.
Tall and angry.
I think I brought up the whole thing of since Andre the Giant, wrestling has had a trouble booking bigger giant men.
Yeah.
Because none of them seem to have the charisma that Andre had. Not even, you could barely understand him through his accent sometimes, but he was engaging as well as able to move a bit in his younger days. In older days, he could do stuff like he could actually like move around the ring. And look at him in The Princess Bride, like that, you see how well he interacted, whereas none of the giant people here are able to do either of those. They don't move well. They're not given a chance to. And then Vince just likes to say, "Ooh, you're big." As the joke goes, Vince McMahon likes big, sweaty men. That's what he wants to see, is the big, sweaty man.
Yep. Big, sweaty men tossing each other a boot.
Big slapping meat.
Big slapping meat.
But I feel like there's got to be something in the DNA. We can go back to Andre and look at like, how do you get someone across? And if, like you said, put him against someone who's a little more agile, a little bit, can do a bit more in the ring, give him more than a 2-minute match, give him a 5-minute match, a 7-minute match, something, but where he doesn't have to work as hard, or have a promo where he has a line where MVP talks for him, gets everything set up, and then he says his one big thing. He says his catchphrase, whatever it's going to be.
Exactly.
Something.
Or maybe you have to pivot a little bit with a character like Omos and not have him a singles competitor, but like a part of a tag team.
Or stick him in a stable as the heavy. Where he
stable as a heavy.
It sounds like they were going to do something like, with the reuniting of the Hurt Business.
The problem is that when you're in a stable with Bobby Lashley and you're the heavy, that kind of doesn't work as well because Bobby Lashley's the heavy and also can't talk.
Oh, Road Dogg.
His pants are falling down.
That little dance is hilarious.
All he's got left.
And Molly Holly.
Yeah, Molly Holly.
I know her name comes up in conversation a lot, but for some reason, I also feel like she doesn't get a lot of credit like she should.
I mean, she does not.
Homegirl was one of the first women in WWE. Like, she actually shaved her head for this.
Yep.
She did everything. She took everything, and she was a great locker room leader in the back. Oh, okay. They finally got drafted.
I feel like they should have been drafted sooner.
Seeing as they were in the first match of the night tonight.
That's very true.
No, you're thinking of
Otis.
Otis and Chad Gable.
Who they fought tonight. And Otis and Braun went out.
Oh, the professor's not here.
Driving.
Once again, not a lot of accolades for Homegirl, which is a shame.
The professor's favorite because he knows her personally.
You couldn't have at least hosted Halloween Havoc?
Twice. Nothing for Bronson, or is Bronson to get accolades? Yeah, he got accolades. That's because Shotzi doesn't have a signature move.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
This is what we've talked about. Shotzi's amazing, but she hasn't had a finisher or signature, so they've never let her win a match because that's the only way now you can win a match, which is terrible.
Woo! Let's go, the Yes Boys.
There they are.
What?
I knew they were getting drafted.
I don't care what nobody says. Their ring gear is immaculate.
They're hysterical, and they're so full of themselves, and I love it. And
what? You're supposed to be dead.
Wait a minute. They were in a trunk, thrown in a lake. They're dead. Continuity means nothing.
Yo, but this tag team division on SmackDown is going to get a lot of fun. It's going to get. We hope so.
Let's hope it's allowed to breathe and do stuff.
Yes.
Which I'm saying.
Pretty Deadly is hilarious.
Viking Raiders should be on SmackDown then to fight Pretty Deadly. Can you imagine the Viking Raiders beating the crap out of Pretty Deadly?
So you're right. So this is a hot take, right? Like at first I didn't like Judgment Day's theme, but it's grown on me.
It happens to go on every freaking week, so
leave me alone. Finn 14 Staples. I love that.
Yeah, that's a good shirt. That's a good shirt.
Yeah, that's a great shirt actually. I like that one a lot. Even though if he'd won the match would have been better, but yeah.
So all right, so I don't normally listen to Logan Paul, right?
Good.
But I read an excerpt because Edge was on his podcast this week, right? So Edge told Logan that the match between him and Finn that was at WrestleMania, the creative wanted that to be done at the Royal Rumble, but Edge was just like, no, let's wait on that. And Finn was even, let's wait on that. Yeah, so I'm just trying to imagine. I was like, what would have Edge done? It makes me think, what would have Edge done if that match didn't happen at WrestleMania?
That might have been the mixed tag then.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Although Rhea would have had her title that night. I don't know.
Very interesting.
I'm waiting because they keep calling her the Eradicator. Rhea needs to come out in the old Terminator style glasses from like TV.
Yes. It's mommy.
And Dominic stays on the floor.
As he should. Just kidding. That's where he belongs. Step on me, senpai.
Oh, nice one there, Damian. Full on Hogan.
I love Damian Priest. Punisher Martinez.
Is this the tag match with him and Dom, or is this like who's in the match?
It's a promo segment, I think.
Just a promo.
Well, it's a promo.
Yes, yeah.
Because I'm like, Rhea looks like she's ready to go.
I was about to say, is this where Rhea says, "Fuck you all, I'm taking over the Judgment Day"?
She's always ready to go, though.
That is very true.
God damn, this is like promo 2-minute squash match. Like you have the roster to have matches.
You can tell. To be honest, though, like at this point, this is like a staple of Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown is pretty more wrestling centric, and Raw is more promo heavy segments.
Because they have 3 hours to fill and they have nothing else.
Yep.
I do love that their shadows are white in that light. That's awesome.
Right.
Molly's always on top. And
Waka.
So dumb on her face.
He is such a good he's such a little dick. Oh, by the way, Alex, just you are 6 seconds ahead of us. Like we can hear the TV in the background.
We're okay with it though.
I love it. I love it.
Yo, these shadows are kind of dope though.
I think they're projections. I don't think they're actual shadows. Like they're doing it.
No, I think it is a projection because it's like too smooth for it to be a shadow.
Yeah.
But even still, that's dope.
It says Dom for Dominic, not Dom because she's a fucking
No,
Dom.
no,
Yeah,
she is
the
a Dom.
dominatrix.
She's a Dom.
Okay.
But
Remember, his name is Subanik.
Subanik.
Or also because the whole thing of him being in jail, he's ex-con Dom.
I said it when we reviewed the WrestleMania, but I really enjoyed that match, but Dominic's entrance made me feel uncomfortable.
There's a reason for that. We talked about that, remember?
Yes, there was footage of Auschwitz, which was not great. But as a fellow Latino in this country of America, watching him come up, ooh, okay, hold up, Spanish, yes.
He's also Puerto Rican.
Yes.
These closed captions are terrible.
I bet. I can only imagine.
it just says speaking Spanish.
Wow. Wow.
They didn't even try.
They gave up.
Switch over to SAP. They should have it on there. They're still yelling what? And they're yelling yeah too. Do you hear that? It's what and yeah.
It's like, what? Yeah. See, Damien, I appreciate what you're saying. Adolfo appreciates.
I do too.
Adolfo appreciates what you're saying. JVL, all of us in this call appreciate what he's saying.
I just noted from the captions he's speaking Spanish.
Rude. But yeah, Dominic coming out in chains in a prison van. I was just like, I understand it's part of the gimmick, but bro, I don't want to perpetuate the minority stereotype. Damn.
He says 2 words and he gets booed the loudest. Like when I was at Elimination Chamber, watching him just be out on the ring apron getting booed was the best thing in the world.
And Finn's just there.
I love that he lost to Ray at WrestleMania and he's still getting booed.
I know, right?
That whole storyline was a wreck.
Yeah.
I still find it funny that him throwing the drink in his sister's face at WrestleMania was not planned, and she was legit ready to jump over the barricade and fight him.
Sorry, there was just a news update here. AEW has released Leva Bates.
Oh.
Very sad.
I love the librarian.
She was wonderful. She was great, but she was definitely lower mid card. Like she was never on anything but dark, but she was definitely fun to watch. Blue Pants.
Well, now that they got rid of one of the YouTube shows,
maybe we should go back to NXT and be Blue Pants again.
I mean, I'd be for that. I guess you could team her up with Kiana James because, I mean, she doesn't need an assistant now.
They need tag teams. Team her up with Wendy Chu.
When Wendy comes back from injury.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, she's out. Nikita Lyons is out. Sol Ruka is out with injury. And a couple other girls, too, which makes me sad. And now I'm trying to figure out, there's really no more women's tag team division in NXT because you called up the champions and the only legit tag team is Kaden and Katana. I think those two should have been called up before Alba and Isla, if I'm being honest, because those girls have been there for almost 7 years.
Now it's time to bring in new talent.
But WWE wants to tout their homegrown stars. Katana and Kaden are homegrown. Isla and Alba have established careers in the United Kingdom.
They were indie stars, yeah.
They were indie stars too.
They were more polished.
That's very true.
Listen to how loud it is there. He's screaming.
Yeah.
From a psychology perspective, right? Granted, Dominic has Ray to help him out, but you got to imagine like when they go out here and they get heavily booed, especially if the personality type isn't ready to be that kind of heel, right? You just got to imagine, be like, what it psychologically, how it affects somebody like that.
Well, and luckily also in that respect, because Dominic's standing the whole time, like he's got Ray to mentor him, like this has happened to your Uncle Eddie. This is what we do. Like Ray was never booed that way, but like a lot of people he knew and grew up with got booed like that.
That's what I'm saying. I was just like, I'm just imagining the wrestlers who are just navigating this by themselves and don't have that kind of mentorship. Like the psychological effects, it would be interesting to do a psychological study on this.
Watching William Regal's kid in NXT too take that on, and like with Gulak, he's just eating it up.
Oh, Charlie Dempsey is great, bro.
Oh shit!
Ooh,
There you go.
He's gonna bust out the chancla.
Ray just said that on air.
Ray, it's not nice to lie. That's not happening.
That's not happening.
But it's gonna be a great match, though. Now the question is, Bad Bunny has to win against Damian.
Yo, unless the WWE wants some people to get shanked by some Puerto Ricans that are fucking pissed.
Yo, honestly, like I would not be mad if Damian won, if I'm being honest, but I think Bad Bunny probably will win since he's literally the home. But then again, this is WWE. They never let the hometown hero kid ever win in their hometown.
Except that's with the wrestlers, though, because he's a celebrity. They might.
That's very true. Give me 10 minutes. That's all I ask. And
what? Seriously?
We saw this. Santos is eating the pin, right? We all agree on this?
No, Zelina's eating the pin.
Oh. Listen, I love the LWO, but can we emphasize the W instead of the L in that name?
Nope, not on WWE. I also love that Zelina Vega is like half the size of Rhea Ripley. She's so short.
It's still, I shouldn't be amazed by this by now, but every time I see pictures of her and Malachi, I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, she climbs Mount Malachi, basically.
Don't we all at one point want to at one point?
He's not called the Dutch Destroyer for no reason.
Nah.
I think I said this on Friday, but I'm going to continue to say this. Brody King is like one of my favorite wrestlers who's a girl dad.
Oh, he's such a girl dad. He's so sweet.
He is. I know. I was just like, he's a beefy boy, but he's a softie. He's very introspective. And I still love the fact in his interview with Renee, like Julia Hart has become their adoptive child.
Yeah, of course. She's away from her family.
And those kinds of stories always make me feel great.
Definitely. I don't know. Yeah, this has been a boring night of everything. And now we had a segment long promo into a match.
How much you want to bet this match doesn't go more than 7 minutes?
Oh, easily. It's a 3-person like tag team. There's no way it's going to be.
So you say Zelina is taking the pin. I say Santos is taking the pin. I think Santos is taking the pin because for some odd reason and I say this very loosely in air quotes, you want to try to protect Zelina, so Santos taking the pin makes sense.
So what about Subinate taking the pin?
Now, if they wanted to give
that'd be cool.
That'd be amazing. Have Ray pin Dominic.
Well, and then you set up everyone else as strong going into the thing, and you don't make the super people that aren't going to win look less strong.
But this is WWE, so I never know which way it's going to go.
Wait, where was LWO drafted to?
Oh, I got you. Hold up. So LWO, all 5 members have been drafted to SmackDown. It was announced in the second round tonight.
All right, and Rhea Ripley has the SmackDown belt, right?
Yes. So let's briefly talk about that. Yeah, because go ahead.
So follow me on this. What if, against all odds, the Rhea Ripley loses the SmackDown belt, and it goes back to SmackDown, and then she comes into, because she got drafted to Raw, and now she can go after Bianca Belair.
Here's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen with these women's titles because Bianca currently has the Raw title and she's been drafted to SmackDown. And same thing with, I don't know how this is going to go because you have Rhea and Zelina. It makes kind of sense because Zelina is on SmackDown, Rhea is on Raw. So this one makes sense, but it doesn't make sense with Bianca versus Io because they're fighting for the Raw title and they're both on SmackDown. So then follow this logic then. I don't know why they would pull the trigger at a filler pay-per-view like Backlash, but what if Io takes the title from Bianca and therefore she goes to Raw, thus splitting her from Dakota and Bayley? Because we did see Bayley was all over Dakota after that tag team match tonight.
Pretty much.
And honestly, I think Io is ready to be on her own, if I'm being honest. She always has been. See, I still can't see now that I've seen that video of Gunther dancing at his wedding earlier today. Like, he's such a goofball and I love him even more.
You look back at his old stuff. Remember, I sent you that thing of his, like the weight he's gained and lost over the years. They showed him early in his career. Early in his career, he was like a raver boy wrestler, which is
that's
hysterical.
right.
He had the green hair and he is a nut, and I love him.
He's such a goofball and I love him. And I love Jenny too. Jenny, I'm so sad that she had to retire, but I love her.
Talk about those people that took a bad bump and had to leave.
I know. Her interview on Ring the Bell was very eye-opening too. I was just like, you know what? Jenny's great.
There were a lot of great people in NXT UK, and they've all been like wasted in a lot of places.
Yeah, and not just WWE. This is across the board. You know what? Like, I've been catching clips of Progress Wrestling, and I'm just like, this looks legit.
So, can I ask something here? So she just tagged his chest to get in. But earlier in the other match, Bailey put her leg out to be tagged by Dakota and got a tag and that wasn't allowed. Told you have to tag hands. So how does that work?
Depending on the match and depending on the sequence is where the tag is.
I guess so.
Yep.
Not like this.
And such, right?
Oh, no. No DT this time.
See, it's a lot easier for Rhea to be powerful when you have Zelina Vega who weighs half her size.
I know, right?
See, the WWE universe hasn't seen this, but me personally, I know Zelina can wrestle because when she's amazing. When she was part of LAX and Impact, ooh, she was crazy.
But she's been off for quite a while. She hasn't even been wrestling on the other shows. So is there any rust or anything else?
That is very true. Also, just randomly, because it popped up into my head, at the time of this recording, I would like to congratulate Carmella and Corey Graves for the announcement that they are expecting their child.
Oh, that's right. Congratulations.
In November.
Congratulations.
And hopefully everything goes better for them this time, because I know Carmella took it really hard after this last one. Which also made me mad, because people were like, being so mean to Carmella after she lost the baby. I was like, y'all need to take it down a couple of notches.
We have something to show you over here. Someone's just got a new dress made for them.
It's so ooh, just like nuts in his face.
Yes. That's why mommy's there.
Santos, you almost dropped Zelina, boy.
How cute was that?
This is the one change that I'm glad they did, because remember Elektra Lopez was their female mouthpiece, but I'm glad they put Zelina with them.
Oh yeah, because Elektra didn't she have something come up where she was like there was a lot of things they shouldn't have talked about, or?
No, I don't think she's just ready, because she like in ring she still needs a lot of work.
That makes sense.
And all the boys, we know that they can wrestle, because I'm familiar with their work outside of WWE, especially Santos of all people. Come on now.
Well, Santos is actually pretty good on the mic too. I'm surprised they had.
Yes.
Good to know beard and brow. I can take care of that as I have my whites in my beard, my brows starting to come in.
I can't relate.
Hey, you just had a big birthday though.
I know.
Your warranty is officially run out.
I own that shit, man. The white and the hair.
Here.
It's a sign that you have lived life very well and for a long time.
It's a sign that I'm stressed in my life.
Yeah.
I'm losing hair, so that's something. And depending on certain filters and certain lighting, people think, are you going gray? I was like, no, but that'd be cool.
There you go.
Yo, they have Reese's Crunchy now? Well, we need to
back up. It's like back up. Hold up.
Priorities.
Yeah, hold up. When did they come up with Reese's Crunchies? That's awesome.
That's new to me. So now we got to go find it. Oh my gosh. Which reminds me, right? So since we're talking about product placement and everything, right? This is totally like off the wall, not even related to what we talk about. But remember how excited we all got when Sobe brought back that vitamin water that we were making fun of when we did the Kids on Bikes one shot, and then it actually happened?
Yep.
Oh yeah, all
awesome.
the elements, the Snapple elements.
That was awesome.
You sure?
I was like, love it.
Love it.
I was like, at first I was like, I don't know whether to be proud or upset that this is the highlight of my life so far. But then I was like, you know what? This is the best thing that has ever happened to me recently. And we will take full credit for it coming back. I don't care what nobody says.
They heard us. They heard that thing that we never put out anywhere. Totally.
There's a small demand.
I'm done.
She heard all your voices now. She knows what you sound like.
Oh, okay. So like, I'm making light of the situation, but I was a little bit proud of myself. So apparently JC, right? So everyone knows that he has kids. So apparently I didn't know this, but I found out about it yesterday. Apparently when he talks to his kids about me, he refers to me as T.O. Mike. So apparently I'm their unofficial T.O. I was just like,
and now you're 30, so you can really be a good T.O.
Hold up. I say it white because the friend that said it is also white.
Yes, you are Theo Mikey. We know.
Yes, I am Theo Mikey to his children, so it's great.
Morgan,
I'm not trying. Also, I don't want to. I'm trying. Let me say this with a grain of salt because I don't think talking about women's appearances should be a thing because it's not. But I like this. I like Zelina's hair as she currently has it now than before. Like this. This is giving me cosplays, Zelina, and I love it.
It almost looks like a wig, but we know it's not. It's the extensions, though. She definitely has extensions in the.
Oh, for sure, she has extensions, but I like this color coordination we got going on.
Oh yeah.
Damn, Dominic, I keep forgetting how tall you really are.
That's because Eddie was his father.
Yeah, that story's kind of run its course.
Yeah, I'm done.
Alice was just saying that they got to do a new thing with Rey Mysterio and Dom because.
Oh no,
we'll see.
Another big match. There's going to be another big match. They're doing a set of 3 before Dom retires Rey.
Yeah.
That's what they're building to.
Okay. Ooh. Cameraman, you had one job.
Yeah. He missed that.
Of course he did. Because Kevin Dunn's pushing all the buttons in the back and he has no idea where he is.
Ooh. Okay. I see. Yo, Rey getting the pin would be crazy. Or getting pinned, I should say. Nope, never mind. I take that statement back.
Watching, but I love that he has like the Charlotte Hornets colors on. Because like Judgment Day's colors are purple, so it's kind of a little weird that he's not wearing LWO colors, but
Santos, what's going on with his hair? Oh,
Shit.
Oh,
yes. Man. Tiny meteor.
Yeah.
Instead of a meteor, would it just be a meteorite?
I would think so, yeah.
I'm sorry, Zelina. I love you.
Oh, wow. Arm drag that he nearly got taken out by.
Oh, took that.
Yes, he did.
Ooh, it looked like he landed on the part of the back landed on. Ooh.
Yep.
You called it, Mikey.
That's crazy. See, my mind during the matches, my mind changes like every 5 seconds. But Rey getting pinned was not at the top of my bingo card, but it was a possibility. But it's like what JVL stated earlier. Rey getting pinned protects, I guess, Santos and LWO over a little bit, but it mostly protects Zelina going into Saturday.
Because Rey doesn't have a match on the card.
And it technically does make Damian look strong going into the street fight on Saturday, too. Which means he's probably going to get beat.
Yeah, easily.
But I like Adolfo's idea. I want specific things and items from Puerto Rico just to be available for as weapons.
Go outside the ring. Go outside the venue. Go into the town.
That would be amazing. Oh, Undertaker, Brock.
Underbrock.
Bork
Laser.
How do we make Brock Lesnar a heel? I get it. Let's give him a black cowboy hat and a black trench coat. Brilliant.
It worked for the Undertaker.
What is wrong?
Cody, we don't need to hurt ourselves again, remember?
Watch this. He's going to hit the guy right in the ear.
I know. Right there.
Right there.
He wants to fight Brock.
Listen, Cody, we already fought with the torn titty. We don't need you to get hurt anymore.
Right? Like,
ooh, he made Brock bleed.
Calm down.
He made him bleed out of his nose.
Right. Yo, it's my homegirl, Kathy Kelly. Loved you for. She's been one of those wrestling news reporters that I've been following for a very long time.
Wasn't she dating Finn Balor for some point?
I don't remember. But she was covering like after shows on AfterBuzz TV like all those years ago when Maria Menounos was trying to get into the podcasting network.
I can't pay attention to Cody because all I'm watching is Triple H's
just face. The dirt face.
The dirt face with everything off center though.
Or as Carlos Mencia would say,
framing, guys. Framing.
They had one job.
One job.
The person putting the decal on this damn thing had one job. It's off center. Look at
it's really bad.
It's really bad.
Yes, I agree, Cody. You have to win. You have to win at Backlash because if Brock wins, then I don't know what to do with myself.
Papa H is always watching. The back of the line. The back of the line. The back of the line.
Adolfo, fun fact, if you did not know this, Cody is actually part Dominican.
Get out, really?
Yeah, his mom is from the Dominican Republic.
Huh.
And he can speak Spanish, But he has said in interviews is he doesn't put it out there because then when people look at him, they're like, nah, you can't be because he looks too white. But his mom, he is half Dominican.
He also dyed his hair like platinum blonde, which doesn't help.
Get him off my screen. Boo.
That's just like his dad, though, Alice. His dad did that for years, too. So that's kind of like the Rhodes thing to do.
Holla.
I would love to listen to Cody Rhodes speak in Spanish, though, because with his lisp, that's even fun.
Yo, we've been hyping this matchup. It better not end in some bullshit.
Look who's involved.
Never mind. You're probably right.
Yeah,
I just want
Wreck House.
Honestly, like I'd be down for that.
This Friday.
Oh, never mind. They are gonna finish this feud, even though it barely started.
Oh God! Why does he have to fight Creator Wrestler 7?
Creator Wrestler 7.
See, okay, I still stand by my I still stand by my statement that Karrion Kross's character should just be his legit self. Have him be the deep thinker that he is in these interviews, because that's more interesting to me.
Because right now, all he does is like he broods and does nothing and loses, and like his promos go nowhere. So like I made the joke, like at least in NXT he had a shaved head and he looked like menacing, but with the hair he's got now, he just looks like I am generic wrestler 5 from
from a 2K game. Listen, Karrion's
2's voice. It's super deep.
It's super deep. I'm gonna give Minnie shit tomorrow. I was like, where were you?
Yeah, he said he was gonna be here like minute 1. I was looking forward to it, me and Minnie.
And you got stuck with me. I'm sorry.
I didn't get stuck with you. I was by myself.
Now you know how I felt for a whole hour.
Yes, I do. I totally did. And no one's going to want to listen to the first 20 minutes of this podcast because it's.
But we're going to.
No, we're not. Cut me out.
Seriously.
Oy.
No, if you're serious about editing it out, I will. Let me.
No. I would go back and at least cut some of the silences out. For when I was trying to fix the
I do that anyways when I edit these. Like all the long pauses and the silences get cut out immediately. So don't worry about it. The 20 minutes will actually be like more like 2 or 3.
Probably, yeah, because we recapped the draft from the night before, gave my thoughts on it, told everyone else that you all sucked, and then I kept going.
Can I be honest? I'm excited to take this to the next level and just do more shit with this.
It's going to be fun. We're adding Alice on as a permanent host now, right?
Oh my God. That's so stressful.
You don't have to like actually host the podcast. You just have to give your perspective when you want to, and your
you could be a guest commentator. Like my mom will probably give guest commentating because she's actually going to watch a little bit of Backlash with me on Sunday.
Ooh, I want live reactions. I want video of this.
You know what? I have to. You know what? I will get her honest reactions. I got to figure out a pay-per-view for her to watch. Like, I will say, I did get her commentary when we came back from WrestleMania because on her own accord, she only really wanted to watch it because of Ray versus Dominic, but she ended up watching all of night 1 by herself.
She watched the best night.
She did. And then she proceeded not to watch night 2. And when I got home, I was like, good, you didn't really miss much. She watched night 1 for 2 reasons. Dominic versus Ray. And then her homeboy from the 49ers. That's her man.
George Kittle.
Yes. Why don't you come explain to my friend's mother why you think Kittle is the greatest piece of person on the planet?
Because he's not Rob Gronkowski?
Nah. Mom, what are your thoughts on Rob Gronkowski?
I don't like him because he was a Patriot.
Yeah.
JVL, be nice to my mother.
I love your mother. Your mother is amazing. I agree with her. George Kittle is amazing too. He's great. I come back to the whole thing of I was a Patriots fan when they were terrible in the 80s. So I'm happy we had 10 years of prosperity. Oh, God. The press conference.
This is the most POC wrestlers I have seen at a press conference in ever.
Right? That is amazing. But it's because they're in San Juan.
Yes, I know.
Hey, it's Brian Saxman.
Hey, Bianca.
It doesn't matter what brand I present the WWE Universe to the best of my ability.
Her earrings are as long as her neck is.
Listen, I love Bianca, but she will forever stay true to the culture, and I love it. My favorite is the EST of WWE, just take them off and just beat everybody up.
Oh, God.
Interviewing Bianca when you should be interviewing the top 3 draft picks in the WWE. I mean, Dakota, and I don't know if you saw that earlier tonight.
She's so good at being annoying.
She really is.
She's perfect for this.
Which was even better, Alice, when she turned, because for a while she was like the white meat babyface, like hug everybody. She was the crowd was into her. She was like Everyone
Part of her-
she was the underdog, and then
Part of
she
her
got
entrance
to
was the
turn-
inflatable peoples.
Yeah, exactly. And she got to now be so freaking annoying and go after people. It's so good.
I just knew that she was going to be the unique, talented.
I forget that EO came back, got called up during SummerSlam, and we're finally getting these two to have a match.
Yeah, because that was Kai and her at the same time with Bailey.
But hold her back.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh,
So are we planting EO taking the title? Because I'd be okay with that.
I'd be great with that.
To finally step out on her own and kind of.
And honestly, I think, yeah.
I beat her at Backlash.
You already shined. Have you seen her NXT run?
Right. Yes, speak that Japanese.
Speak not English.
Oh man, these subtitles.
I believe it.
And sometimes you don't even need to translate. You know, when you
Those
real
eyes are
recognizes
like
real.
kawaii.
I know. Real recognizes real. And Bianca knows that.
Yep. The kawaii eyes, though, are like,
Why am I not? Of course, it's in Puerto Rico, but now I'm going to have to do my research when I make my predictions video because I got to find the theme song for the pay-per-view.
something by Bad Bunny.
It probably is. Holla holla.
Okay, it's tonight the night where he's going to book a tag match against The Undertaker, and it doesn't happen. Because he didn't do it on Friday.
Him and his white sneaks, man.
Those are orthopedic shoes, man.
I know. Teddy Long is a national treasure. Ew. Get this man off my screen. The
Set
fact
him
that
on fire.
WWE is still bringing him on TV despite everything that has gone down.
What's worse than the guy running the company?
That's very true.
Listen to the non-reaction.
Nobody cares. I don't.
Ron Simmons is the only reason he has any cred. I heard who he picked.
Yes. Okay, so they're not. Otis is.
They're not
still
breaking them up.
attacking.
They're keeping the Alpha Academy together.
But they're on the same with Maximum Male Models. So they're
Yes,
all
that is
nearby.
very true. So that's still going. Alpha Akata. Wow, Rick Boots actually got
Rick
picked.
Boots got TV picked.
That's crazy.
And he's away from Shinsuke too.
Which I think on one hand is good, but also I like them together. Hold up. I'm waiting. Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So the people going after
the tag
wait a
titles
minute.
are not going to be there.
No, they're on Raw with, or is I no wow.
The
Are they going to
two.
make the tag titles be on either side now of the main roster?
I would actually be okay with that.
Oh,
I love how they still have to be in character, and then on Friday
Right.
these two were crying.
Right.
Pretty Deadly's alive. Cameron Grimes.
Yes! Finally, my man's is on main roster television. It's been too damn long.
He didn't have to wait anymore. He's been sitting at home.
So what big names have they not announced yet?
Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss.
So when they announced like the draft, when they listed all the superstars eligible, Bray, Randy, and Alexa were off that list.
But Big E.
So
was
they
on
may
it.
end up, huh?
But Big E was on it.
Yeah, that's so weird.
There's a couple other big names that they haven't, mid card names they haven't talked about either. I'm trying to think.
So we need to talk to all five of the boys here, but since there's since three of us are in here, I'm trying to think, what do we want to talk about when we record our regular episode in 2 weeks? Obviously, we're covering Backlash, but what else did we want to talk about?
AEW?
Sure.
AEW definitely, and also Spring Breaking.
Yeah.
Ooh, Spring Breaking was actually pretty decent. And actually, by the time we record, we should be getting hints of what to expect at Battleground and what to expect at Double or Nothing, too. Because when we record our official episode, we'll be 2 weeks away from that.
So they gave Solo the Taz towel.
But whatever. I feel he didn't really need to stay in NXT for too long, but I would have loved to see him actually run for it with the title for a little bit.
Or the North American title for a bit longer.
Yes. Like, I still think it was stupid. He grabbed it. He was like champ for 2 days and then they stripped him of it.
And here's how you make a big guy worthwhile. Why couldn't they do this with Omos? He's the heavy for a group.
Seriously.
He can actually wrestle, so.
I'm ready and I'm not ready for Friday on Saturday when I see this movie. I'm
You're not ready for
probably
muscle group?
I'm probably gonna cry like a little bitch.
Merchandising.
Merchandising.
I love it.
Ooh. All right, since we're on commercial, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get my food.
Go get some Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
I'll stick with my Liquid Death, thank you. So good.
Wait.
So good.
Isn't that regular seltzer water?
What?
Or is it Liquid Death, or is it alcoholic?
It's seltzer water, and it's also iced tea now. They don't do any hard alcohol, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I was drinking it when I was pregnant.
Oh, that's right. You were.
Oh my God.
That's right. Because had you been drinking it and it was alcoholic, that would have
All sorts of wrong.
that would have been
Yeah.
There would be issues.
What was your flavor, Alice?
Oh, I just went with boring original.
Nothing boring about it. You like it.
Yeah, I really did like it.
I have been converted to it. Like, I didn't like sparkling water at all, and that's the only stuff I've ever liked.
Oh, nice.
So good. Okay, what does Mikey have? What did Mikey get for food? It's in a black container. Wings?
KFC?
Maybe.
Because didn't he have KFC last time he was? I feel like he had KFC last time I saw him.
He might have. I just feel like it definitely looks like it's more of a takeout place. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's a branded, but I could be wrong.
It might be a local.
Ooh. Does Mikey eat local though?
That's a question. That's a question to ask. Do they have anything local where he lives? Because I feel like
they've got to. If they host Coachella every year, I'm pretty sure they've got to have something. Because Indio hosts Coachella.
But that's the thing. Do they have local restaurants that like us regular peons can go to, or like
I don't
is
know.
it all? Mikey, what'd you order?
So I DoorDashed my dinner tonight, and I got some wings from Wingstop.
Wingstop.
Okay. It's not a local place, but it wasn't KFC. Okay, we were close.
No, this is going to be a hot take, right? I think KFC chicken is overrated. I don't like it as much. If I had a choice between that and Popeyes, I'd pick Popeyes every time.
Interesting.
They just opened a Popeyes around the corner from.
You haven't ordered from Popeyes yet.
It's been years since I've had Popeyes. I only had it when I lived in Chicago, and they don't have money back here.
You know what? When y'all come for WrestleMania, we'll have a Popeyes night.
There's one around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sad part is I won't be able to stay with you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because I'll be down in Philly because my buddy who's coming down with me, his family's in Philly, so I'll be staying with him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's cool, though.
We're actually trying to see if we can grab everybody else, including like your family too. Like we'll all drag him to his parents' house in Philly, so we'll only have to get up and walk over to the stadium, so we don't have to drive too far.
That would be great.
I'll talk to.
I mean, I don't mind the drive either, because like the way I figure it, it'd probably be an all-day event, so we could drive down early, and if we leave early, zooming down the turnpike isn't.
It's still an hour and a half, babe.
Yeah, but it's easy.
It's easy. But I'm just saying, it's time.
It's still an hour and a half.
Still an hour and a half. It's a straight shot.
It'll be interesting for us because I'll be bringing down my partner and my daughter, and I know he'll be bringing down his wife and daughter as well, because they want to go out and do their own things as well, and they want to go to the Mutter Museum and do all the fun stuff in Philadelphia. But it's going to be a family affair, so it'll be fun to see if I can find room at this place for everybody else. Oy, live wrestling is just so amazing.
I'm excited to go and see live wrestling again.
It's such a different experience, especially with WWE, like going to the shows and not having the commentary, but also not seeing all the weird camera cuts and stuff. The stuff that goes on, the vibe in the room is just so much more fun.
That would be so interesting to see, because thinking about oh my God, what's the weekend long thing that we watched? Like, it was sitting on the couch, so entertaining, incredibly entertaining. And I can only imagine like how much more it is like in person.
You feel connected to them because they're actually reacting to like noise you're making in the stadium. Whereas you're at home, like, yeah, you can get more information and it carries it. But yeah, like seeing, like I went back and watched the event that I was at afterwards just to see the up close stuff I didn't catch. And the things that they missed on camera that I got to see was like, oh, wow. Like the camera guys don't catch half the stuff that goes on.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
So if you go back to the SmackDown Before Elimination Chamber, which is the event I went to, Sami Zayn had a promo and they cut it down for the broadcast. They even drowned some stuff out to get him to talk. There was a good, like, solid 6 full minutes of cheering from the inside that was so loud, I had to put earphones on. It was that loud in the venue.
Wow.
Yeah. And then from my experience, when I went to WrestleMania 2, there was a lot of like when the stream would go to commercial in between matches, we got to end up seeing like after the triple threat for the IC title for night 2, we like Sheamus and Drew were still in the ring and they ended up hugging it out, which caused the audience, the whole stadium to just erupt in cheers.
Aw, I love that.
Yeah, it was a good time.
To be the new world heavyweight champion, as you can see the factor here. Getting into Solo.
I'm holding my ears.
We never see Solo the enforcer now. Never Solo.
That move, I love.
The leapfrog.
Yes.
Make Solo uncomfortable. Keep
They do a whole, that's part of the Wrestling 101 that you learn, like that interchange where you do the
Yep.
frog and the roll under and all that stuff. You have to do that multiple times to get your agility up and get timing.
Yep.
I also love that Solo wears like bicycle shorts with a bunch of tape.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in WWE quite like Rollins when it comes?
More and more recently, every time I look at Solo's face, I'm just like, he looks like he's about to perpetually start crying at a drop of a hat.
He does look like that.
He always looks like he has that sad boy face.
But he tries to be mean.
Like everything is overwhelming and I hate it.
When your dad's
His new
teaching,
gimmick,
everything is overwhelming.
Yes. His gimmick is he has so much anxiety.
And all they do for him is instead of having him fight it all the time, he ends up going to a couple mental health segments like they did for Kane and Daniel Bryan.
Oh my gosh, where they actually have the therapy sections.
Therapy sessions, like group therapy.
Ooh.
The other weird thing is that when he gets like intense like that, his nose curls up and lift the lights. It looks like he has a booger coming out of it because it's the shadow. So I'm sad and I have boogers.
Aw. Our Polynesian sad boy.
I'm Samoan.
He's the Samoan sad boy.
Samoan sad boy. That's the
So it
name
goes
of instead of the what do they call the Samoan
Like,
the Samoan sad boy.
which is just like him just doing a thumbs up.
Yeah.
He pulls the Shawn Michaels, and every time he does it, I'm sorry, bam.
I love you.
I love you.
He comes out to like a cover version of anything by My Chemical Romance.
That's funny. That is funny.
There's two ways. If they were going to do sad boy, like in the terms of the modern iteration of sad boy, he comes out to the lo-fi version of his theme song.
What is it in D minor?
Yeah.
Just put it all in D minor.
Oh my gosh. Get out. This necklace is a new piece of my soul. Girl, get out.
Jared, vapid people spending money.
Part
So
of my
the
soul for the
guy-
next week before I put it in my drawer.
That's EJ, the guy with the mustache in that the commercials. EJ, he is an amazing improviser. I did stuff with in Chicago.
Seriously?
I'm so happy he's getting
That's
national
awesome.
commercials. I'm so happy he's getting national commercials. He is a weird ass man, but he
But
is
I feel-
so fucking funny.
But I feel like most theater people are weirdos.
He was odd for theater people.
Oh, wow. That's saying a lot.
I was about to say that's saying something.
He'd sit in the bar at the Annoyance before a show, like not be backstage or anything else. He'd sit among the crowd and just either stare people down or put a finger out like he was going to poke you, but not get close to see what your reaction was. And then he'd put it back and he'd just sit there. No notebook,
Wow.
no drink, no nothing. Like he's an odd duck.
Alrighty. What is with the bangs, girl? I thought this was a documentary for Lance Armstrong. I was like, dang.
What are you watching? I know that I'm watching the same commercials that Adolfo's watching, but
Right. Just in a 6-second delay.
yeah, damn Papa John's.
I'm watching I'm getting a
That must be the local one. for
getting a
California.
commercial for
Oh, Mikey, we're losing you, Mikey.
It's getting around that time.
It is when Mikey's internet starts to go out.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I understand why, because I was just like, I had to switch because like the one that I was watching, it froze up, so I had to pick something else, right?
Oh yeah.
So now I'm watching this. I'm watching it, and apparently, I think I'm getting the BT Sport version.
Oh, so you're getting from Britain.
Yes. Ooh. So I was like, no wonder I'm getting a commercial for a bicycle Tour de France tournament.
I want to watch that.
Unfortunately, I'm still listening to the English commentators, or the US commentators, I should say.
Turn your SAP on.
Nah, I'm good. Because all I will say is speaking in a Cockney accent.
Manipulating the mind of Solo Sokoa.
gonna text Minnie right now. Be like, where are you?
It's almost over, Minnie.
I know. It's just like, where are you? Why you not here? LOL.
Smiley face.
Oh, is Solo going into the table?
Uh-huh.
Coast to coast across the ring.
Did he just? Wow. Rude. I'm like, what kind of comparison is that? I understand, but that's a reach.
Of course, Paul Heyman's making a phone call at ringside.
That's what he do.
Yep. That's how you get Roman on TV. He's always on the phone. Does he get paid for being said that he's on the phone?
Oh, the most devastating move in all sports entertainment.
The surprise roll up. He stood up from that. It's a rock bottom.
With pizzazz.
Yeah. It's almost a bookend, but it's really just a rock bottom.
Super kick pate.
I have muted my audio and I'm listening to your audio, Adolfo.
Okay.
Which it's not syncing up and it's beautiful.
Are you Roman's little bitch? He says.
You see it? Another spinning rock bottom.
Solo Sikoa ends up being the sleeper agent that The Rock sent. I actually heard that theory too, that Solo was sent by The Rock.
I did it for The Rock.
That'd be hilarious.
There he is. Solo was like not himself the first half of the match. He's finally showing up.
He got kicked a couple times.
I know.
Yes, I hit my head on the turnbuckle, and now I'm going to go ahead and walk back into the ring because the ring pole didn't do anything to my head. Poor Rita the ring post, and there's Jimmy, and there's they are. And Solo's going to get pissed because he didn't want them breaking up his match.
Yeah, y'all are ahead.
Yep.
Oh, race to survive Alaska. Rinvoke.
Brought to you by Rinvoke.
So have you heard this? Have either of you heard this where people are saying now, if you're having trouble coming up with a name for your D&D character, just pick a name of one of these stupid over-the-counter medicines like Rinvoke or something else to be your D&D name?
That's something I'm going to do for this upcoming campaign.
What's your name?
Corporal
I'm
Rinvoke.
Atrexia.
Corporal Nexium.
Corporal Nexium.
And there we go.
All right. There it is.
It was a fun time.
Was it? Was it? I mean, it was good for you guys.
I think it was only fun. So, final thoughts before we log off for the night?
What was the point of making it a draft? There was nothing different.
Yeah. Yep.
Of course, I'm gonna have to look up I'm gonna have to look up who the rest of the picks
You're not gonna
tomorrow
watch
morning.
Raw Talk? You're not gonna watch Raw Talk?
Bro, I came home and I was already late, and so I hopped on to do this, and I still have yet. I'm gonna go take a shower after this, but I'm not surprised of who's going where, I guess, because someone makes sense. I'm interested to see how this women's title situation is going to work. I guess we'll have to
another thing where they throw the belts at each other.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm quasi interested in with the whole draft thing. And now we got the red brand and blue brand. Red bland and blue bland is how are they gonna flip flop the belts? You got Backlash coming up this weekend, which from a quote unquote common sense story writing standpoint, you do have opportunities for certain belts to go back to their respective brands. And then after that, you got next month is Night of Champions, right?
No, not next month. 2 weeks later after Backlash is Night of Champions.
Yeah,
so there you go. So you do have two big opportunities for the belts to even out, as it were.
One would hope.
One would hope.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what happens after Backlash and Night of Champions because WWE doesn't have a pay-per-view in June because the next pay-per-view after Night of Champions isn't until July, and that's Money in the Bank.
And of course, the rumor rolling around that they're just letting Roman get his 1,000 days, and then at the Night of Champions, that's when he's going to lose his belts. So.
Unless
they keep pushing it for him to beat the damn
right. I still think that he's going to lose it at SummerSlam. Oh, wow. No, he wanted to be here. I messaged him. He's just something came up with his family, but he really wanted to be here.
I have no idea, Adolfo. I don't know what they're going to do with this. It seems like they need to figure out how this is going to work mechanically, and they still haven't.
Yeah. But it's not that they haven't. It's just that there's a mustachioed individual
who likes big sweaty men
and is going to fuck it all up.
Yeah, easily.
Easily. And that's the final line, the final word.
Yeah.
Because Adolfo said so.
Honestly, like I said, normally I would be watching this by myself, and it's always hella boring, but we can be hella bored together.
It's not saying much for the product if it's hella boring.
Yeah, true.
If I'm being honest, at least like when I'm watching it by myself, I am thoroughly more entertained and I look forward to SmackDown, but I always dread Raw.
Yeah.
I'm just 3 hours. I was just like, if you made it interesting, I would care, but it's not, because 80% of Raw is usually just promos anyways.
Or promos into an ad break. And no. Oh, that was a slog.
Oh my goodness. But I was entertained, and we can officially say that the draft will have an update later, but officially the draft is over for 2023.
Yep.
Freaking Lord.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye, Adolfo.
And with that, we come to the end of the Bi-Conics podcast, hosted by me, brought in by Mikey, all those good things. We had a lovely time sitting here slogging with you. Check out all of our stuff on the socials that I talked about earlier in the thing. Please tell your friends about this. We want to have more people listening to this. If you enjoy it, Liquid Death, sponsor me. And Mikey, I've enjoyed sitting in your shoes for a little bit tonight and doing all that stuff. I really appreciate you more because of it. Next time, jump on with me.
Hold up. God damn it. Technology, folks. No, but I do appreciate that, because it is a lot of running around behind the scenes, getting everything together, making sure everyone is where they're supposed to be. And even though I was giving you shit throughout the thing, like, it's not as fun when I don't have my co-host with me.
Oh, yeah. It's tougher to get on board with it, but hopefully we didn't bore you too much here. And remember, from all of us here at the Bi-Conics, you are Bi-Conic.
Yes. And when we come back with our regularly scheduled episode, it will be after Backlash has happened. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some AEW stuff and what NXT Battleground and AEW Double or Nothing is looking at. Because Tony Khan, I have some words with you in terms of some of these stories going to Double or Nothing, because
air quotes stories.
I have no idea what's going down. I have some thoughts and feelings that certain matches shouldn't have happened that happened on the weekly television show the last couple of weeks that could have been saved for Double or Nothing. We'll talk about it later. But until then, from all of us here at the Bi-Conics, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, let the good times roll. And as always, be your true Bi-Conic self in everything you do.
Bi-Conic?
We're going to make that a thing. But ta-ta for now. Bye!
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, audio podcast land, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.